Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, or however you may be viewing at YouTube Kern Radio. It is a Thursday, third day of July, as we end the week, head into a 3-day weekend for most of the country as we celebrate our great nation's birthday. Got a busy show, though, to go out on. Despite Hakeem Jeffries' 8.5-hour delay, the House passed the president's bill, his big, beautiful bill, 218 to 214. We'll unravel what that means for us here in the Central Valley, meaning Congressman David Valadao, and highlight the Democrats' fight, etc., etc. Bottom of the hour, Nick Ragone is going to join us. You know why? Do you know why? Do you know why? Do you know why? Okay. I was going to go with just cuz. But yeah, we will talk about, obviously, a little history. He is a big history buff. His videos are now popping up on my video stream. Yeah. Yeah. It's about 12:15 in the morning. And bang, Nick Ragone pops up. We'll talk to him about that. And he wants to talk about, no problem with this. It's a Friday for all concerned. His all-time 70s team, which is, my wheelhouse. I think Nick might be older than he admits, because the 70s is when I was growing up. I entered high school in 76, graduated in 80. But, and I've seen his list, and I have a problem with a couple of them. We'll get into that with Mr. Ragone at the bottom of the hour. It is a Thursday, so Mike Turnipseed, Daniel Petrie will be here. And then in the 5, we will talk about just a really fun night at Dodger Stadium last night. You watched the game, Mr. Philly fan? But you didn't watch the game? Yeah, it's just, it was great. It was glorious. It was so much fun because it didn't look like he was going to get there. First inning, I said he ain't going to get there because he had 30 pitches in the first inning, and I said there's no way he's going to hang around long enough to get 3 because he kept getting 2 strikes. I think the first 14 guys, he had 10 of them with 2 strikes and couldn't close the deal. Then he finally got it in the second, strikeout in the 5th. And Doc, according to Doc, now I just was talking with Rand Dizzle down the hallway, our DJ on Hot and my travel agent, that I said Doc wasn't going to let him go. That last pitch was going to be his last. Rand was like, no, are you kidding? Let him do it in Milwaukee. His wife and his sister-in-law and all of his 4 kids are sitting up there. You really don't think Doc would have let him get into hundreds of pitches? And I started thinking, I was like, yeah, Milwaukee. Yeah, he might have. He absolutely might have. But he becomes the 20th pitcher of all time. Alex Fisher, not second. Somebody had a miswrite at 17. Said he's the second pitcher of all time. 20th. And Alex is a Dodger fan. I was almost called in there. What's the matter with you? And only the 4th left-hander, as we talked about yesterday. And it was just great. We come back in the 9th. Guess who got the leadoff hit to get it started? Yeah, but the leadoff hit to get the whole rally started in the 9th. Yep, my man Conforto, 178. Come on, Michael. Let's best 200 by. Well, no, the All-Star break is next week. He's not going to bust one. But yeah, Kim was in the ballgame. He played. He got a nice big walk in the ninth inning. What is the deal on Max Muncy? Max was trying to make a tag at third base, and they said it was a knee sprain, that he'd get an MRI today, and they'd let us know what's really going on. That would be a big blow right now. Well, it couldn't have happened at a better time. Absolutely, actually, for it's break time. So we'll get a couple of days off if that helps. But if it's, something muscular, forget about it. And he's one of the hottest hitters in baseball right now. That's a big blow to us. It really is. He was kind of one of the leaders. I mean, the lineup is so weird. One night he batted 8th, and the next night he batted 4th. And that was the night that he hit the grand slam, as a matter of fact. He hit a pair of grand slams. So that's a big deal. But it was just a great night because we came back, as Chris said, Freddie Freeman came into the ninth and got the base hit to win it for us. And just they let CK take the mound home. Did you see that? They dug up the mound and gave it to him. And then I saw some video this morning, him in the clubhouse, and his boys come running in first, the 2 older boys, and then the 2 younger boys, and then the girls with mom. And I watched it 4 times. I cried every time I watched it. Literally. I cried every single time I watched it. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not sure it was a strike. I'm not sure. Yeah, exactly. Come on. Anything close. And that's what they were doing. That's why he couldn't put anybody away. Because if he threw anything near the plate with 2 strikes, they were swinging at it, and he couldn't put anybody away. They didn't want to be the victim of this thing. But it was just a great comeback and a great night. Congratulations to Clayton Kershaw. And finally, we reported late last night that Sean Combs got denied bail. Sentencing is in. And now the question becomes, will the judge, who shocked everyone by denying Diddy bail, and my speculation, although don't go by me, I had him guilty on all charges, but my speculation is the judge may have thought they got this wrong and punished him. Because why in the world would you keep this man in that detention center until October? Really? There's a sincere fear that a man that just dodged a life sentence is going to go chase Cassie down and knock her around? Or the Jane Doe? I mean, I guess with that history and your own defense team saying at the very beginning, look, he has a problem with domestic violence. If you're going to confess that, then yeah, I guess I could see we got to keep you away from these women. I guess. I don't know. But then now, does she, I keep calling her she. I keep calling her a she because the judge in the Reed case was a woman, so I keep calling him a she. But he, now the question is, will he run the 2 sentences for the 2 different life, like 5, 7, 10 years? That's not really the rest of his life. He's only 55. Or is it going to run concurrently? And I've got some audio. We'll play it a little bit later when we get into that. And I've got some miscellaneous news notes. Wimbledon, Anna Navarro advanced. She is one of the highest ranked women in the tournament thus far, and nothing really earth-shaking on the men's side. Last I saw, Ben Shelton was winning, a lone American. We'll check that for you at some point. Really? Like who? Yeah, I was going to say Navarro is the highest ranked. She's at 10. I don't know what other women you are alluding to, because Jessica Pegula got knocked out. You want to hear this? How Aryna Sabalenka is dancing through the streets of London. The second third, fourth, fifth, and sixth seeds on the women's side are on planes. Second, starting with Goff, all the way, Pagula's in there somewhere, all the way to 6 are out of the tournament. And we're in the second round. We're barely in the second round. Aryna Sabalenka, if she doesn't win this thing, it's an absolute choke. Okay, then 2 through 5 are out. 2, 3, 4, and 5 are out. Yeah, well, because I just said 2 through 6 are out. I love Madison Keys. She's won a major now. She could win this. She just won Australia. She didn't win the U.S. Open. But who's in? Yeah. Never heard of her. My money's on Anna Navarro, whose dad is really famous and rich, but I can't remember what he does. All right, let's get started. We got a busy show. We'll come back and break down the House vote on the big, beautiful bill and get my thoughts on the fate of Congressman David Valadao. He's got a perfect storm facing him, that's for sure. The Democrats, in Hakeem Jeffries' 8-hour stunt this morning, he named David Valadao by name. They are going to come at him with everything they've got. And they're going to be armed with a doctor. Because you can forget about Randy Villegas. It's Janet Baines who's going to challenge Valadao. And as a physician, she's going to try to scare the crap out of the 67% of that district that are currently on Medicaid. We'll take a quick time out. We'll assess that. Our good friend Nick Ragone at the bottom of the hour. Mike Turnipseed at 4. Daniel Petrie at 4:30. It's the Ralph Bailey Show, a pre-holiday show as we celebrate the birth of our nation. On News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com. I'm just going to say they're closed tomorrow. Huh? Yeah, sometimes they're closed tomorrow. Okay, I know. KC Steakhouse closed on 4th of July, but they'll certainly be back open this weekend. And after barbecuing or going to somebody's house on Friday, you're certainly not going to want to cook. Why not head to F Street and have one of the best steaks you'll have ever. Or stop by the Stockyard next door. You know, at the Battle of the Bartenders, I found that a lot of you have gone to KC Steakhouse and aren't even aware of the Stockyard next door, the speakeasy type bar that Cassie has set up. It's been an absolute game changer. You can have dinner. You can enjoy some of their craft cocktails. It is a banquet hall, so you can have meetings there. You can have election night parties, as Kathy Abernathy does. It is a great venue and a great place to have a cocktail after dinner in the main restaurant, where Jimmy and Bobby are playing live music, and there's an acoustic guitar player in the Stockyard as well. KC Steakhouse, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show. Buzz.
800-575-7147. That's 800-575-7147 or simply TRA.com. Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
842-5376, 842-KERN again, in a vote that lingered on throughout the night. Mike Johnson said he hasn't had sleep in about 2 days, literally, because the vote first had to come back from the Senate. Then there was a procedural rule vote just to get it on the House floor. I can tell you this because I watched this thing till about 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock our time. I think all the local networks changed venues at about midnight. But David Valdez was one of the final votes. They had 4 votes to cancel on the procedural side, meaning that it wasn't going to get to the floor. And there were 8 Republicans who had not voted. And somehow in the early mornings of Washington, D.C., they talked somebody off the cliff procedurally because they could lose 3. So they talked at least one person. I don't know who that was. And it got to the floor. And then once it got to the floor, as the Michael Bowers doctrine demands, at the 11th hour, they all got on board. That's the Bowers doctrine. Again, I've told the story at least 50 times the last 3 weeks, a month. Was he here, Chris, about a month ago? When I told him I didn't think the bill was going to get through the House. And he looked at me quizzingly and said, "Are you crazy?" He said, "At the end of the day, everybody will get in line." And the good points are, my taxes aren't going up next year. I'm very happy about that. I'm extremely happy about that. I think there are very good parts of this bill, that it supports ICE. And it's going to put a ton of money in immigration, deportation. Whatever you want to say about Donald Trump, you cannot say that he doesn't do what he promises on the campaign trail to do. This is what he got elected to do. This was the mandate, and he's getting it done. He is butter. This man is on an incredible roll. And if the national news was fair, he'd be heralded right now. He'd be feted. He'd be honored. He stopped Iran and Israel from lobbing missiles at one another. The Pentagon is now officially saying that Iran's nuclear progress has been put back at least 1 to 2 years. Remember where we were day 2. Oh my God, they didn't do a thing. They didn't do anything. It's obliterated. What are you talking about? Well, now it's official. The stock market is booming. Tariff negotiations are coming in. He just signed a deal with Vietnam. Is talking to him. He was on the phone today with Vladimir Putin for an hour. He is on a roll. And if he was covered by anybody else than this progressive left-wing media that is absolutely obsessed with him and cannot give him credit for anything, if this were a Democrat, it would just be an entirely different story. Now, don't get me wrong. I am fearful for Congressman Valadao. I truly am. And I think that's why he was so reluctant. One of the last 8 people to vote on this thing last night, just to get it on the floor. The key to the midterms will be who can sell the message. Because the Democrats' message is going to be loud and clear. You broke your promise. You're taking millions off Medicaid in a district that has of the constituents on Medicaid. You broke your promise. That's all they're going to bang. And believe me, it's going to be Jasmine Baines that is carrying the torch. And I'm just hoping that President Trump will come out here and campaign for Mr. Valadeo. This is a gargantuan gamble. They are gambling that the growth that is created by the tax cuts will create consumer spending and revenue that'll overwhelm what the CBO says is a big hit to the deficit. And we'll talk more about that at 4:30 with Daniel Petrie and get his thoughts on that. Some speculation anywhere from 2.8 trillion to even as high as 4 trillion adding to the deficit by 2034. But it's an amazing accomplishment. You got to give it to him. I mean, I never thought it was going to get out of the House, let alone make it to the Senate, then get out of the Senate, and then make through all these amendments and all these no's. They had 4 no votes, and they talked somebody off the cliff. And there's a lot in this bill that the Democrats aren't going to tell you about, because one of their big fights in terms of Medicaid is this idea that rural hospitals will be impacted. And as the bill came to the Senate, that was very likely. And honestly, the God's honest truth. So what did the Senate do? They put in a caveat in the bill that just got passed that sets aside $50 million for hospitals that are in trouble. And I might even have that wrong. It could be B, but I'm pretty sure it's 50 million. Point being, they have set aside money for that contingency. So don't buy that as they try to shove that down your throat. This is this. And I don't know what Hakeem Jeffries was trying to do this morning. He got up and was on the floor from 4:53 this morning till 1:37 this afternoon. You know whose record he broke, don't you? He's a senator. That's a senator in the House. Nancy Pelosi had the record, then somebody else just recently defeated the record, and now Hakeem broke his record. Yeah, oh, of course. And just delay as much as they could. They knew the vote was inevitable. They had the votes, and they just wanted to put this thing off. And this is the big, I don't know, their big Cory Booker, Hakeem Jeffries, a couple of brothers go. See, for the folks that are not old enough, there was a Frank Capra motion picture called Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. And the denouement of the film is Jimmy Stewart playing Mr. Smith, a young junior senator who's been set up. And to prevent the graft going on in his state, he has a damn near fatal filibuster. So that's 2 brothers go to what? Never mind. Quick time out. We're off to, I can't tell you where we're headed to, but my next guest, I think, is finally going to confess and tell you his incredible new news. And we'll just kind of chew the fat with one of our favorite guests. Ragone joins us next. Mike Turnipseed, top of the hour. Daniel Petrie at 4:30. I'd stick around if I you. Look.
You know, I mean, you're friends, but I can give you legal advice too. I'd be sort of like the Bob Shapiro of that. No, actually the Kardashian, because he was a lawyer, but he wasn't really part of the team.
Right. But he was OJ, he was an OJ's. Yeah, he was an OJ's ear, that's for sure. And there are a lot of people.
I'm not going to be AJ Cali. I'm not driving you around. I'm not giving you that fun.
Well, a lot of people. That's funny. A lot of people think that Kardashian got rid of the bag with the knife in it. Have you seen that video?
Yeah, I have. I can't.
I can't either. Yeah, and it's crazy for him to be carrying around the knife. He got rid.
There's a documentary on OJ, I think on Netflix, and there was a couple people at SkyCap at the airport that said that they saw him go over to a dumpster and throw
Yes.
it in there. Like,
That's what I'm.
good evidence.
There's video of it. That's what I was talking about. That video. Have you seen it?
Yeah, that's not Kardashian though, is it?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. He's wearing a white shirt, and there's a dumpster right
He
outside.
didn't go with OJ to the airport, did he?
He picked him up. He picked him up when he
the-
came back from Chicago.
The thing that was amazing about that documentary is how many people were not interviewed that were like, "Oh yeah, I had this piece of evidence, I had that piece of evidence," and nobody ever asked me about it.
Yeah.
What?
He did it, but they tried to frame him as well, in my opinion.
Well, there was nothing. I mean, if you're guilty, then I don't. You know, there's nothing really to frame. I mean, he's as guilty is.
Yeah.
No,
But I think Furman planted the glove. I don't think he dropped the glove along the side of the house.
you know,
Come on.
But there was so. I mean, look, I don't think he did, but there was so much overwhelming, not circumstantial evidence, like prima facie evidence, and it was the worst handled trial that I've ever seen. And,
Yep.
You know, look, I don't know why we're talking about OJ, but
I know, because it's always fun to talk about OJ. I tell you,
by the way, the Menendez documentary also on Netflix is really interesting too. If you haven't seen that,
which one? There are two.
there's two. I watched them both. The one that's like a 10-part series. It's a really long one. I mean, it's like a 8-part miniseries or something. I mean, I think they're guilty, but it's an interesting watch.
Do you think they should be let out?
No, absolutely not.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either. They've never confessed. They're still holding on to the deal that they were fearful of their parents, and that's why they killed them.
Yeah, that's their story, but there's so many holes in that. I don't believe it.
It's crazy. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So, what did you want to talk about on this Thursday afternoon?
I mean, let's talk about it. Let's go around the horn. First,
All right.
Charlie Woods. I just want to talk about Charlie Woods. In the last 8 months, it seems like he has found a whole new gear. He went from like, you know, kind of a novelty and struggling to break 80 to winning an AJGA event, a really good one. And those are super competitive, qualifying again for the second year in a row with the USGA Juniors. And then this week finished T12 at the North and South Amateur, which after the US Amateur is the second most difficult and prestigious amateur. The kid is a junior in high school. I mean, that's something. Now we're getting into elite golfer territory. He's ranked, I think, number 10 in the world for juniors. And that's not bogus stuff. That's not on his name. That's like he's earned that.
Right.
So I've gone from like, oh, he's got a nice swing and it's interesting to like, oh, he's flat out one of the elite amateurs as a junior in high school. He's got 2 more years before college. He's absolutely on tour trajectory, no doubt about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's going to grow. Probably hasn't even hit his growth spurt.
No, it's going to get bigger. He's built, you know, he's lifting. You can tell he's bulkier, but like he should get a couple more inches. Already he hits it. You know, he had 180 mile per hour ball speed at the PNC, which is, it's not just tour length. That's like above average tour length. That's like JT length. So I've been super impressed at how he's been able to kind of stay out of, you know, I mean, with all the glare on him, he's been able to work on and improve his game after like struggling. He put up some 80s in qualifiers.
Yep.
And it looked like he was just, you know, another kid with a famous dad to like finding not just one gear, 2 gears and playing really good golf while the whole world's watching him. And at a very young age, he's still only 16. I mean, it's not like he's 21, he's 16. And I just think, and by the way, he's made his swing over. Like when he was younger, he had kind of more of a Rory swing, a lot of shoulder turn, a lot of dip. And now his swing is way more on plane. It looks a little bit more like his dad's swing, but it's a really technically sound swing.
Yeah. Who's his instructor? I mean, obviously at the end of the day, it's Pop, but does he have a guy?
I think it's Justin Thomas's father, Mike Thomas.
Really?
Yeah, they were really close, and I think at one point Tiger revealed that like Mike Thomas is a second set of eyes. I mean, I think it's Tiger mostly,
Yeah.
and I don't, but I think it's Mike Thomas, and I think, it looks like he's definitely worked with somebody because he's changed his swing. If you look at his swing, it used to be very Rory-esque, and he'd get a deep turn way behind it, and then he kind of, use the ground as torque. He still does a little of that, but it's way more on plane. It's not as much, kind of rotational, and so. I'm excited. He qualified for the USGA Juniors again, and that'll be a good barometer on where he is with his game, like as far as being an elite junior.
When is that?
I think it's the end of July, early August. Last year was at Oakland Hills. I forget where it is this year. Usually at great courses, like courses that want to hold majors. And then next year, it's in Pennsylvania at Saucon Valley, which is one of the premier courses.
Yeah. I'm happy to see that. I really, really am, because I was worried for a while. It didn't look like he was going to become one of those elite players that you're talking about. That's good to see.
Yeah, I was skeptical, but I'm a skeptic. No, the top 10 or top 12ing at the North and South, there's no way to get around it. Like, that's really, really good golf. I mean, you have elite golfers who can't do that.
Yeah.
It's such a tough tournament.
All right, now speaking of golf, let's transition into this video I saw of Patrick Harrington, who was a former champion at your golf tournament, and Roger Maltby, long-time professional, and then longer time commentator for NBC, one of the best. They got into it apparently because, and tell me if I'm wrong, Harrington was upset. Harrington put his ball in some deep rough. Maltby was covering the hole. Maltby was standing there and wouldn't help him find his ball.
Yeah, that's the crux of it. So it was deep. It was more than deep rough. It was deep in the woods. It was really not very findable. And so Harrington, I guess, during it was like, hey, you mind not standing around and looking? And evidently Maltby didn't respond to me. Kind of stayed, which is the right thing to do. If you're not going to look, don't engage with the guy. My feeling is this: the Patrick was way out of line.
Way out of line.
He's not a participant. He's not a referee. He's not a rules official, and he's not a fan. He's there working.
Yep.
So it's one thing now if sometimes, and you'll see this, commentators will get in the heather and start looking around, and that's their call. If they want to kick around the grass, they can, and if they don't want to, that's their call. As Roger Maltby said afterwards, like, my paycheck isn't signed by Padraig Harrington. Like, I don't work for him, and so it's totally their discretion, because there's probably been occasions when announcers have gone and looked for ball, and I have no problem with that. And there's occasions when they don't. That's up to them. They're not a part of the action. They are calling it for NBC. And I thought Harrington was way out of line, and then they got into a confrontation after the round. So he confronted him during the round, which that is so uncalled for. Like, first of all, focus on your game. Secondly, like, I know, you only get 3 minutes. It's a lot of pressure, and I'm sure he was anxious to find it. And he kind of called out Roger, and Roger didn't do anything. And then afterwards, it seemed like they almost came to blows. And the good thing is, Maltby didn't back down. I mean, Patrick's a big guy and thinks he's intimidating, but like, Maltby didn't back down and just said, no, I'm not a participant. Like, I'm not on your team. I'm not your caddy. I'm not a fan. I work for NBC. I'm calling this. And afterwards, it sounds like that Patrick apologized to him, which is the right thing to do.
Good.
He was way out of line.
He totally was, because it's an absolute advantage to the lucky threesome or twosome that gets the reporter. Nobody else has a reporter. So, I mean, I can't even believe that he would. I couldn't believe that's what it was about. I thought maybe
Harrington's a little bit of a hothead. And I think that was, I understand you're in a major, you're leading, your ball is lost, and you're hot under the collar, but you don't go and confront a guy, not only just anybody, but Roger Maltby is the dean of kind of the roving reporter. I mean, he practically invented that job, and he's the best ever at it. And he's a former player. He's won 5 times. Like, it was so out of line to call him out during the round and then confront him afterwards is even more out of line.
Yeah. The video is pretty dramatic, but you're right. Maltby stood his ground and said, I don't work for you. I don't work for you.
He had a great line. He goes, I get a paycheck every 2 weeks, and the last I checked, your name's not on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
That is a great line. Talking with Nick Ragone on this day before the holiday. I wanted to get into the 70s All-Star team.
I have a video. Well, I got to set it up. I have a video that has done really, really well on my YouTube page and Facebook page just doing it's like a 1 minute video on my brother and we put together an all 70s team, five-man rotation, reliever, manager, and every position player. And
when were you guys born?
I was born in 70. Tom was born in 66. But I was watching baseball when I was 5, 6 years old. So, I mean, not that I remember every single one of them, but I know the 70s. And so let me just go around the horn. And I'll do this from memory. If I might get a few wrong, but I debated at first base. It was either Stargell or who did I have at first base?
Steve Garvey.
And
which was a good choice.
Mr. First Baseman, the consecutive games, the All-Star teams, average power, great defensive player, Golden Glove. So that just seemed like a natural. Second base, Joe Morgan, to me, maybe the greatest second baseman of all time. That total no-brainer. And the quintessential 5-tool player. Shortstop was really tricky. I had Bert Campaneris or Dave Concepcion. I went with Campaneris just because he had speed and stole bases. Concepcion more of a defensive player, but I don't know who else would have been in that argument, actually.
I would throw Gary Templeton into that argument in the late 70s. I would throw a very underrated 270 career hitter, Bill Russell, who led the Dodgers to a lot of pennants during the 70s.
I thought about my buddy Ozzie Smith. I think Ozzie really more 80s than 70s.
Yeah.
It's debatable. I don't think any of the shortstops from the 70s there's no Cal Ripkins or Ernie Banks or Roger Jeters in that group. So, and then third base was Schmidt. That's an easy call. I think he's the greatest third baseman of all time. Johnny Bench, I think he's the greatest catcher by far of all time. Pretty easy call. Right field, Reggie. I mean, Reggie had the second most homers in a decade, and he's Reggie. Center field, a little interesting. I thought Fred Lynn is so underrated. He was such a good player. He had about a 5-year stretch from 75 to 80 where he was just dominant.
Yeah. Got injured.
Because you got to have the all-time hit leader. You can't not have that guy on the team.
Yeah, that's not bad. And Fred Lynn.
I think I had Seaver, Carlton. I put Ryan in there. That's controversial. A lot of people are like, what? Ryan? Gaylord Perry, who had a very dominating 70s. And then Goose Gossage, independent. Sparky Anderson is my manager.
Ooh. I don't know about
and Jim Palmer, Seaver, and Carlton were my big three.
Yeah, I don't know about Gaylord Perry and the spitball.
They were very good.
Yeah, all right.
I'm just saying, look up his numbers. I did a research on him, and I was just like, man, he had a bunch of 20-win seasons. He didn't have overpowering stuff, but talk about a fifth starter of that guy. Guy had 300 career wins. I mean, underrated. There's a lot of good pitchers to choose from.
Don Sutton got to be thrown in there.
Sutton. Yeah, Don Sutton.
He won a Cy Young. He won a Cy Young in the 70s.
Definitely could be on there.
Yeah.
And I left off my one of my favorite players, Jim Rice. I just felt like Rice probably could be on there somewhere. I think Rice is, to this day, one of the most underrated players. Even though he's in the Hall, still in my books, he was so good from about 75 to 80. And then, and then he kind of, lost it in the 80s, but he was so good in the 70s.
Yeah. And speaking of the devil, of someone who just passed away who belongs in the Hall, the Cobra, Dave Parker.
The Cobra. Yeah, I did a post on him. He should have been in the Hall a long time ago.
Yep.
People forget the Cobra had won 2 batting titles.
Yep.
He won an MVP, but he won 2 batting titles in addition to being a power hitter. I mean, the guy was a slugger. I think he had 340 one year. I remember those great, Pirate teams, the We Are Family, the Pop Stargell 79 team. And then that throw he made in the All-Star game, Parker, still the greatest throw of all time from right field, on a fly to home plate, nailing whoever it was. Just one of the all-time great throws. Great defensive player.
Yeah. It doesn't beat Bo's throw, but I'll give it to you. You ever seen Bo's throw?
Bo's
when he throws out Harold Reynolds.
Yeah. That is the greatest throw of all. He was at the wall and literally whipped it around.
Yeah.
On a fly. Bo was a freak of nature. Bo is unfortunately not in any Hall of Fame because he didn't play long enough. But if you still had to say the greatest career athlete of all time, I don't know how you get away from Bo Jackson.
I concur. I absolutely concur. And it breaks my heart. I was there. I was at the Coliseum the day that he got injured.
The Bengals game?
I was. It really was. And you could tell.
Sideline. He ran down that side, the right sideline. And
Yep.
It was like, oh, he's hurt, but he'll get up. He'll be back. And, that's his last game, man. Who knew his last touch?
Yeah. God. He was so fun to watch.
And he was such a good baseball player too. He had so much power. I mean, some of the highlight reel stuff, but not just the home runs, but his defensive play and
Yep.
just such a natural. So like somebody where God said you are going to play sports and you're going to play them at the elite level.
And just naturally didn't really lift weights.
No,
Had what they call
I don't
that.
think he ever touched a weight.
That country strength is what they call it. That's
Yeah,
in
I
the
mean,
South. That's what
you
they call it. The country
2,
strength.
230, ran the fastest recorded 4 up till recently.
Yep.
I just, that's God does that with certain people. He's like, Tiger, you're going to play golf and you're going to have skills that we can't even fathom. And Bo, you're going to be an athlete. Ted Williams, you're going to hit a baseball. You're going to see a baseball and hit a baseball. And it's, by the way, a couple of interesting stats, from like 1936 to like 1950, I think it was, or something. DiMaggio had like 10 World Series appearances, and in between that was like 3 years in the war. Like his run, it was amazing. Like I forget, we talked about this last time. DiMaggio played with Gehrig in the late 30s.
Yep.
How good he was, and then he missed 3 years for the war, and then he had a short career. I think he retired at about 33 because he also got hurt.
Yeah, he had bone spurs.
Yeah, bone spurs, and how good he was. And then I was looking at, I did a story on Mickey Mantle tearing his knee in that 50, I think it was the 51 World Series on a fly ball that DiMaggio was kind of dogging, and Mantle ran over to right center to cover it and tripped on a water
sprinkler.
drain.
Yeah, sprinkler head.
And tore it and was never the same after that. And that was, his rookie year. And to think that he hit 536 home runs, all that speed, all that power on a really bad knee that got arthritic and worse. And between that and the drinking, I mean, he really, if it's hard, it's hard to say that somebody with 500 home runs from both sides of the plate underperformed, but Mickey underperformed.
Yeah, he did. He thought he was going to follow the fate of his uncles and his dad, and was going to die young, and he ended up getting into his 60s with all the. You want to hear a quick? Did I tell the Mickey Mantle story when he was with us last time?
No.
It's my favorite Mickey Mantle story. Mickey Mantle gets this guy to let him hunt on his ranch down in Texas. So he asked Billy Martin. This is in the 50s.
Oh, that story, that's a fake story. That is not real.
I saw him tell it.
He told it many times. On late night, he told it. That was an old joke from the 50s. If you Google it, that's a total urban legend. Yeah, where,
Where he shot the horse?
Yeah, he goes, why did he shoots the cow? And then Billy goes, I got 3 of his cows or something. He shot the donkey. And that is a totally he told it many times, and Billy told it. But if you Google that story, it's an urban legend. It's from a comedian's act from like the 50s.
Really?
All-time storyteller, and none of them are true. I hate to say it.
That's funny. Not the
have your producer Google it right now.
Oh, that's horrible.
Cow story, urban legend.
Or what about the story of what about them climbing being on the roof?
Yeah, because he was late.
Yeah.
He made those all up.
Wow.
He made up all of those stories. Yeah, they were in Boston, and he
climbed along the ledge.
Yeah,
into a window, and
they're all made up.
Oh, that breaks my heart.
He was a great storyteller, and none of them are true.
Yeah,
it's not. It's an urban myth.
Wow, that's horrible.
Yeah.
All right, I'm running out of time. You got anything you want to share with us?
No, not yet. Until next time.
Are you serious?
I mean, I'll give you a quick update. I mean, your listeners are like family to me, but my wife and I, we moved to Philadelphia. Took a new job with a big health system there, creating another PGA Tour Champions event in Philadelphia for September of 26. Hence all my Eagles stuff recently. You've been questioning that.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Big Eagles fan, and very excited. So the next time I come on, I'll talk about it. But it's good to be back on the East Coast. I'm from New York, and my wife is too. Our roots are there, and it's an exciting time. We're empty nesters, so we can travel on the weekends and do fun stuff.
That's pretty cool. Congratulations. I'm happy for you, man. I really am.
You'll have to come out and visit. I just put in last week a putting green. I have a par 3 in my backyard.
Yeah.
It's about the length of that you hold out. So it's about 80 yards. So like you could work on your second shot.
It was not 80 yards. It was a lob wedge.
80 yards. It was 80 yards. You're like the Mickey Mantle of storytelling. It was
a lob wedge. I wish.
It's a full swing.
I wish.
Your tee shot.
Do you really think I could hit a lob wedge 80 yards? I wish. It was
not
four.
a chip. I mean,
No. Oh, it was a full swing. It was a full swing. I was about 40 yards.
As soon as you hit it, I was like, as soon as it hit the green, I said, "Oh, that's in." It was one of those shots where it only had one place to go, in.
It's for 40 yards. Thank you. But that's fine.
You know,
And I never saw it.
Paul Stankowski did well in the Open. I think he top 10.
You know, I almost texted him. I was talking to Mark. I was playing Sunday, and I said I almost texted him to just
Yeah,
congratulate.
playing good golf.
Yeah, he was on the board. It was good to see. All right, man. Always great to talk to you. I appreciate you coming on, filling the time. I really do. Have a good weekend. You too.
If you need anything, if you get in legal trouble,
I will. You're my 5th call. Appreciate it.
All right, that's something.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
You.
All right. Nick Ragone. What do we do now?
Well, we got to go to break first.
Are we coming back or are we just going straight to the
for
top?
a brief moment and then go straight into terms.
You heard it from the man. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1.
Yeah, Petrie right here. And then Turnip Seed is calling in.
Motherfucker.
Insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-555-1509. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-555-1509. That's 800-555-1509. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-555-1509. 800-555-1509.
Coming up at the bottom of the hour, Daniel Petrie from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors joins us as he does each and every Thursday at this time. And it'll be certainly interesting to talk with him after the passage of the big, beautiful bill. We'll get his thoughts on what impact it will have on you. But again, you know what Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors are all about. They're all about retirement. I've told you the smartest financial move I've ever done in my life was become a client of Petrie, and I have never regretted it. They have done me wonders. And if you are facing retirement like I would call Daniel at 395-9400, 395-9400. As I always remind you, his office is right on the corner of 21st and Oak. Just keep it locked. He's coming up at the bottom of the hour.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only. Does not constitute a solicitation or offer to buy or sell any security, future option, or other financial instrument, or to offer or provide any investment advisory or other services to any person in any jurisdiction by Daniel Petrie or NPWA Inc., DBA Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Any views expressed in this broadcast by us are prepared based upon the information available to us at the time, and we are under no obligation to update our views.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WEALTH25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WEALTH25 for a 25.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith.
I guess not. We were supposed to have 45 seconds, but I just jumped it.
Massive so-called big beautiful bill and sent it to the White House for his signature. President Trump is applauding the House passage of his big beautiful bill.
Point after point, biggest tax cut in history, great for security, great on the southern border. Immigration is covered. We covered just about everything. Again, it's the biggest bill ever signed of its kind.
The passage of the 800-plus page big beautiful bill will likely become a defining milestone of Trump's return to the White House, and it's indicative of the power conservatives wield in this majority Republican Congress. There's been a shooting outside a crowded Chicago night spot. Correspondent Jennifer King reports.
Police say 4 people died in a drive-by shooting in Chicago's River North neighborhood. The dead included 2 men and 2 women. 14 others were hospitalized. The shooting happened late Wednesday as people were leaving after a release party for Chicago rapper Mellow Bucks. Street pastor Donovan Price said there was mayhem and confusion at the scene.
People wanting to find their other people, find who was alive, finding who was, where their phones were because they dropped them in the chaos.
Audio courtesy ABC 7 Chicago. I'm Jennifer King.
First Lady Melania Trump visited sick patients at Children's National Hospital in Washington as the children made 4th of July arts and crafts ahead of the holiday. Mrs. Trump, continuing a tradition of support by First Ladies for the Pediatric Care Center, also stopped by the hospital's rooftop healing garden, which she dedicated during the first Trump administration to First Ladies of the United States. On Wall Street, the Dow by 344 points. The Nasdaq rose 207. More at townhall.com.
If you're living with pain, see how Relief Factor can help.
My back got injured very bad. I was off work for about a year. I heard about Relief Factor from my wife. I took it every day, 3 times a day for 3 weeks. Look at her and I said, the pain is gone. And she said, I'm glad it helped. I said, no, you don't understand. It's gone.
Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. Go to relieffactor.com and get your 3-week quick start today. Only $19.95.
Now there's a new way to take charge of your blood sugar. Introducing New Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals, and it's odor-free. Take charge of your blood sugar with New Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. A traffic stop leads to 2 people being arrested on gun and drug charges. Delano police were performing an operation to target drug and gang activity. Officers did a traffic stop on a purple Volkswagen Beetle in the 1800 block of Garces Highway on code violations. Officers say they found drug paraphernalia on 34-year-old Luis Alberto Rojas, who was driving the car. They also found what appeared to be meth near the driver's side door. During the search, detectives also report finding a gun with no serial number, otherwise known as a ghost gun. His passenger, 32-year-old Elizabeth Gamino, also faces firearm-related charges. Local OBGYN has agreed to surrender his medical license. Dr. Arthur Park was placed on probation for
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Thursday, final day of the week for us. It's a 3-day weekend as we celebrate the 4th of July. Hope you have a safe 4th of July. Hope you're not on the road. It's going to be crazy and even worse if you're flying. We still got lots to do on this Thursday. Daniel Petrie will join us at the bottom of the hour, give us his thoughts on the big, beautiful bill. We will talk about Clayton Kershaw's historic night. The Dodgers come back down 4-2 in the ninth and win it on a Freddie Freeman base hit. And Max Muncy could be headed for the IL. We'll talk about that a little bit. And then we'll hear a little bit from H.A. Sala, who's with us yesterday, on Sean Combs. We'll put this to bed because I'm done till October, until sentencing. I've had my fill of Mr. Combs. We'll talk a little bit about that. But in the meantime, the once again absent Michael Turnipseed live via the Rogers Brandon Global Telephone Network. Are you trying to ruin my show, Mr. Turnipseed? Is that what you're doing?
No, but I had to make a choice. My grandkids, I'm with my grandkids, so do I waste a half hour driving over to your place and getting there and a half hour back, or do I play with my grandkids? And I don't get to play with my grandkids that much, so they trump this, Ralph. And besides, your mother's namesake just turned 8 on Monday. So we're celebrating her birthday too, along with the 4th of July.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. No, Chris is looking at me like you got to give him a pass. No, I'm sorry. No.
Holiday.
You've got all day. We're talking about an hour out of your day. One little hour. What's Harry doing right now?
Well, I'm locked up in the bedroom so I can talk to you and be quiet. You don't listen to kids running around making noise.
See, there you go. So it would have just been
But
another.
I'm only going to be on your show for 20 minutes, and then I get to go back and be part of the environment with my 3 grandkids.
Okay.
Ralph, you just don't have grandkids, so you can't appreciate what grandkids
I can totally appreciate grandchildren. I'm just.
You're speechless.
You are
should
just.
be dancing in the streets, dancing on your table there. The BBB passed. The Trump party has now complete control of Washington, D.C. for the next 3.5 years, and you should be happy.
I am happy. My taxes aren't going up. I'm extremely happy.
Yeah, but the national debt's sure going to go up for my grandkids. That's the problem.
Well, I'll be long gone by the time that happens. No, I'm kidding. I mean, that's true, but
You're
that's.
going to live another 30 years, Ralph.
Oh, let's hope not. Good googly moogly. What do you think of this thing? Is Mr. Valadeo in deep, deep trouble? You know, as I told the listeners at the top of the show, they were having trouble getting it to the floor last night. They had 4 votes saying no. They had to talk somebody into changing their vote. And while that was going on, this was all playing out live on CNN, there were still 8 congressmen who hadn't voted yet. And Mr. Valadeo was one of those 8. And then they apparently, obviously, talked somebody off the ledge. He went along with procedural vote, and only Thomas Massie and Mr. Fitzgerald voted against it on the floor this morning. Is he in jeopardy? Hakeem Jeffries, in his little Cory Booker stunt in the House, mentioned the congressman by name.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's in a very marginal district. I don't think he's ever gotten more than 52% of the vote, even when he ran against Rudy Salas and all the other people he's run against and beaten. It is Ralph, you're either facing Trump and he gets summoned to the White House. So the 8 people all went to the White House yesterday who didn't vote. And the president gave them whatever. What we don't know is, like, Murkowski got exemptions for Alaska. She personally admitted, I got what I needed for my people.
Yeah, she said, I hated the bill, but I got what I wanted for my people. But I hate the bill.
But she represents her people. And she took care of her people because she can at least say, I represented the people of Alaska, and we got excluded from this. We got an exemption. And actually counts for Hawaii, too, I think, because they had to write the portion that only states not connected to the other states. There's some language I heard on the radio last night, and I started laughing. They had to really think of it for a while. How can we exempt Alaska? And if they exempted Alaska, they had to take Hawaii along with it because of the language they wrote. I mean, this has been just, we just saw that this is a party of Trump. That much power. Even though MAGA has run two people against David the last two times, he's beat them both by 15 or 20 points. He decided that threat, and the Republicans cannot win that seat. They gave away a seat today. He gave away his seat, basically, because I do not think he can win the seat again now. You're talking of a margin of like less than 3 to 4 points. That's not a big margin to lose. And when you look at how people are going to be affected, because he has a lot more people in the bottom 10 or 15% that are actually going to be affected by this bill than the people in the middle. I saw some data today. I looked it up. The top income people save about $12,000 a year. The very top 10%. In the middle. So I don't know what income level that is, but it says in the middle, 5 and 6 tiers. You're only going to save $500 to $1,000. And in a lower income, bottom 10%, it's going to cost you an additional $1,600 a year. And basically that's between the Medicaid and the SNAP and other those benefits that you get. Those are the numbers. So, and his district is the poorest district in the United States. So some of those people who might have voted for him because he can speak Spanish and he has empathy for people, he costs them money.
I think there's a lane for him to keep the seat. I think it's I've told the audience from the very beginning of this show and all week long, I am fearful for him. He's going to have a physician screaming about Medicaid, which even makes it worse. It's like a perfect storm. But I think you're going to see Donald Trump in that district. I think you're going to see Kevin McCarthy campaigning in that district. Maybe the Speaker Johnson. I think we're going to come back. You know, everybody's like, they're going to come after him. Well, yeah. And you don't think the Republicans are going to give up a fight? You don't think they're going to come with the big cannons to save that seat?
You look at how much money he spent the last election to beat Rudy. He spent, I mean, it was like one of the most expensive congressional races in the country.
Well, you ain't seen.
Maybe they gave him the whole treasury, the Republican treasury, and say, instead of giving you $30 million this time, we're going to back you with $50 million.
Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet.
How much more advertising could we have than were the Salas Valadao race? I remember it was like every other commercial was either Valadao or Salas.
Well,
for like a month before the election.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
They might as well just buy the TV stations.
Yeah, it's gonna be
buy your radio station and buy everything else because it's going to be wall to wall. Because I think one thing that I give Dr. Baines credit, if she and Rudy were on the stage together, she would wax his clock.
You still think Rudy's going to run?
He's still on paper.
What do you mean on paper?
I mean, he's put his name out there, and I haven't heard he hasn't withdrawn yet.
What do you mean put his name out there? He's drawn papers?
He's announced that he's going to do it. Here's what I think is going to happen, though. I think because he sat out for his 2 years now, he's going to go back and run for his assembly seat. That's my tip to you of the day. He can run again for the state assembly.
Well, you just told us two different things. You just told us he's going to run for Congress, and now you're telling us he's going to run for the assembly.
Today, he's running for Congress. Baines is running for Congress.
Randy Villegas is running for Congress.
The party, from what people tell me, they're not putting any more money into Rudy.
No, that's political suicide.
That's right. So he's got to find another home. But I've heard from people in Sacramento that the leadership in Sacramento and the Republican in the Assembly, they're going to run Rudy for that seat again because he had it for 10 years. They think he can keep it. Get it?
For the Assembly seat.
The Assembly seat.
Who-
We're a year away from these elections when decisions have to be made.
Right.
And I think that's going to happen. Rudy's going to end up running for Assembly again.
And who would he be running against?
I have no idea.
Well, who's in the seat now?
Baines is in the seat now.
Okay, well, don't talk to me like I'm a third grader. I just asked her a question.
Seat to run for Congress, and he will fall back into her seat, and it will be Rudy versus Andre Gonzalez.
Oh Lord, please
Write it down. You heard it from me today. You say I don't ever give you any tips. I'm giving you that's my bet for the day.
And that's what you give me. That black heart. Ugh.
Boy,
that is
just because I tell you doesn't mean I agree with it. Doesn't mean it's good. It's just what I'm hearing.
Oh yeah. What am I saying? That's a good thing. You're right. I should be happy because any decent Republican can beat either one of those two knuckleheads. I don't know what I'm sad about. That's a good thing.
Yeah, why are you upset?
Yeah, I don't know. You're right. I just sobered up. That's ridiculous. Go Andre. Go Rudy. Go.
Okay, Ralph. Now the question is, who would you rather have in the Assembly? Rudy or Andre?
Neither.
Because it's a heavily Democratic seat. It's going to go Democrat.
Well, it can't be Rudy. It just can't be Rudy. He's just not a smart man. I'm sure he's a nice man. I don't know him that well, but I've interviewed him, and he's just not very intelligent. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And if you don't, and again, if there are listeners, let me finish, Michael. If there are listeners that want to challenge what I'm saying and think I'm being rude, go back into our blogs from years ago and listen to the Rudy Salas interview that made statewide news, where the Sun Valley picked it up and put quotes from Rudy, where he didn't know what Build Back Better was. He didn't know that the infrastructure bill had been passed. He didn't have an opinion on voter ID, while 99.9% of Democrats think that no one should have to have ID to vote. He even went as far as to ask me literally asked me on the air to give him advice on voter ID. This guy is a knucklehead. Now, Andre's just a do-nothing. I don't think Andre's stupid. He's just a do-nothing pretty boy who thinks he can blue suit his way up the ladder and not really do much for his ward. But he's not stupid. Rudy is stupid.
Well, I would ask some of the local Democratic players who the speaker is going to give all of the state money to, party money to, outside money, and who the new speaker in the assembly is going to back. Because that's what all that matters in Democratic primaries is who the speaker backs, unless they end up like Rudy and they give it away.
Yeah.
So but I think the money will be with Rudy, and
good.
Rudy's people don't, if they listen to him, and it's up to Andre then to expose Rudy for what Rudy is. That's what happens in primaries. That's why you have primaries.
Well, I hope Rudy wins. I hope he wins. Yes. Yes. A Republican will tear him apart. There's no way he could win that seat if he beats Andre. No way he wins. But Andre could screw around and win.
He had it for 10 years, Ralph.
I don't care. I don't care. He's proven, it's hard on your career when you lose, Mike. There's a reason you lost, and they're going to bring that up, and they're going to talk about this guy's just kind of, I don't know, whimsical political career, if you ask me. Hasn't accomplished much, if you ask me. That's just me. But
that's the way it goes, Ralph. We'll see. A year and a half from now, a year and 4 months from now is a long time.
It's a very long time, and I think it's all up to messaging. I think Valadao, again, I've been redundant about being fearful for him, but I think he can stave this off. If they can get the message out that everybody that should be on Medicaid will remain on Medicaid, and that we're going to. And what if this thing works the way they said Clinton's welfare to work wouldn't work, and it did? What if this thing screws around and works? Hello?
Well, I certainly hope it works, but there is nothing that doesn't say that basically most of this, when you look at how it's implemented, very little of it is implemented before the 2 years from now. It's basically fiscal year 2026. So the primaries in the first 3 or 4 months, the generals in the first 3 or 4 months. So the impacts aren't really going to be felt until like 27, 28.
So it's all going to be
real impacts on the 28 election. Not by then, everybody forgets what the BBB even is. So that if there's any genius to this, it's not implementing most of this until 26, 27.
Which means it's all about messaging. That's what it's going to be about. And we know where they're going to come at. And I think that they'll be ready for him. I really do. I really think Trump has the power to go into that district and save David's behind. Yellow?
I'm listening. You remember David Valadao, the registration it's significantly Democrat. And David wins it because he has been able to go into the Democratic Party because of his ability to speak Spanish. He's grown up there. He has a whole different, he's one of us kind of guys, even for Democrats. That's why he's been able to get crossovers and done so well. So he has to have crossovers, Democrats, to help him because there are not enough Republicans. And what are the independents in the middle going to do that aren't really excited about anything right now? They're just kind of lost in the middle. Where do we go? What do we do? And they're going to have to decide this. And it's going to be a very interesting race. And we're going to see advertising probably start next week.
Yeah, and I think all those descriptions of David Valadao about speaking Spanish and being one of those, that's old. That's old. He's been a congressman now long enough. He's delivered for that district. That's why he's won all but one election. That all, that what you're talking about, you was right, but that was his first term and his second term, and then when he got defeated because of Obamacare, that's all. He's won because those people respect him and like him in that district. And Jasmine Baines is an unknown factor in that district, and I think he can stave him off, particularly if Donald Trump comes out here 2 or 3 times prior to the election. Kevin McCarthy by his side, Arnold Schwarzenegger. If heavyweight Republicans support David Valadao, we can save that seat. That's where we're gonna leave it.
One word of warning: if you look at the district on a map, and you look at the Basmain Assembly seat, and you look at David's seat, they're virtually identical. See, people know who she is in that district. That's the thing you don't think. They know who she is.
And I don't think that
know who she was.
And I don't think that helps her. I do not think that helps her. We'll see.
I'm just saying it's not going to be. She's not Rudy Salas.
No, good God Almighty.
Went to jail. She's not Amanda Renteria, who came from Boston or Washington, who didn't even know anything about the district. She never even lived in the district. She grew up in Reedley. I mean, David's had people with flaws. I think this might be because she lives there. She's a doctor there. She's in the community. She has roots in the district. That's the first time that's ever really happened.
All right. That's enough for running down David Valadao. Thank you. Go play with the grandchildren. Have a wonderful 4th of July. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
See you later. Sheesh. Quick time out. We're coming right back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1 AM 1180 KRN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What is the Armstrong and Getty Show? Well, I'll tell you what it's not. The old style of talk radio where you're always screaming our side's always right, your side's always wrong, or taking a bunch of long, dull calls. Now we take a fast-paced look at the events of the day, the issues, the controversies, with a skeptical eye and a somewhat humorous tongue.
We try to be funny. We'll leave that up to you to determine whether or not you think it's funny. It's the Armstrong and Getty Show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WEALTH25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WEALTH25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WEALTH25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
If you need to
Who's
hire,
that?
it seems like the whole process can be
Petrie?
exhausting. You search resumes,
What
wait
does
for the
he
right
want?
candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you
What
could
did he
meet
wanna
with
talk about?
qualified candidates for your job the very
He just
next
wanted
day?
to come on?
Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at
Are you serious?
ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates
I
for
don't
you.
feel like dealing with
Then
this
you can
kid
choose
today.
who you want to talk to
I
and
didn't
meet
feel
with
like
great
dealing with
people
Turnip Seed.
on
That was the
back-to-back
worst
video
segment we've
calls
ever
as
done.
soon as the next day.
I just felt like
Best
saying,
of all,
shut the
you
fuck
save
up.
time and energy.
Run it down
Try Zip
Darnell.
Intro for free right now at this exclusive web
He
address,
has.
ZipRecruiter.com
He's going to lose the
/free.
seat. Even I
Zip
didn't
Intro.
say that.
Post jobs today. Talk to
I said he's in
qualified candidates
trouble. It's
tomorrow.
going to be hard.
Once
but
again, go to ZipRecruiter.com /free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com /free.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to
Well,
the
even if
Rob
he calls
Bailey
it
Show
quiet, tell him we're
on
waiting
News
on
Talk
the president.
96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
The Ohio Players! My childhood, playing 45s, back of the house, driving my mother crazy. Boy, turn that music down. God, I hate her. Want to thank the director for the Jasmine Baines for Congress campaign. My terms. Sorry. Every now and then I crack myself up. We're headed to 21st and Oak. Daniel Petrie's next.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Republicans in Congress have muscled President Trump's tax and spending bill to passage. At nearly 900 pages, the legislation is a sprawling collection of tax breaks, spending cuts, and other Republican priorities, including new money for national defense and deportations. The House approved the bill on Thursday, the final step necessary to get the bill to Trump's desk by the GOP's self-imposed deadline of July 4th. President Trump is complaining the U.S. provided too many weapons to Ukraine under the previous administration. Trump gave his first public comments Thursday on the pause in some shipments as Russia escalates its latest offensive. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 344 points. The Nasdaq rose 207. The S&P advanced 51. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. A traffic stop leads to two people being arrested on gun and drug charges. Delano police were performing an operation to target drug and gang activity. Officers say they found drug paraphernalia on the driver and also found what appeared to be meth near the driver's side door. Detectives also report finding the gun with no serial number, otherwise known as a ghost gun. An explosive fire is burning west of Kern County. Crews are working to get control of the fire in San Luis Obispo County. So far, the fire has burned almost 8,400 acres. It was first reported a little after 1 o'clock Wednesday afternoon on Highway 166 between Maricopa and Santa Maria. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Hey, it's JR for Bakersfield Weight Loss. Do you want to know the secret to resetting your metabolism so you can get your excess weight off and keep it off? The secret is Bakersfield Weight Loss. I've been working out for years, cutting calories and not seeing the scale move. It was because of my metabolism. That's what sets the Bakersfield Weight Loss program apart from others. They help you stop the yo-yo dieting and reset your metabolism to burn calories faster and keep your weight off for good. You may have tried the GLP-1s like semaglutide injections to lose weight, only to find out that you had terrible side effects and you didn't lose much weight. And if you did, you just gained it all back after going off the drugs. It's time to take control of your metabolism and end the cycle of weight gain and frustration. The Bakersfield Weight Loss Program helped me reset my metabolism, and I lost 25 pounds last year, and I've kept it off. This program has helped over 70,000 people lose weight by resetting their metabolism to keep their weight off for good. Schedule that free consultation today by calling 661-449-1150 or online at bakersfieldweightloss.com. Results may vary.
What is the Armstrong and Getty Show?
Well, I'll tell you what it's not. The old style of talk radio where you're always screaming our side's always right and your side's always wrong, or taking a bunch of long, dull calls. No, we take a fast-paced look at the events of the day, the issues, the controversies, with a skeptical eye and a somewhat humorous tongue.
We try to be funny. We'll leave that up to you to determine whether or not you think it's funny. It's the Armstrong and Getty Show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The Charlie Kirk Show. Weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
It's a Thursday. Time to head to 21st and Oak, the offices of Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well.
Yeah? Big plans for tomorrow?
No plans. Not that I'm aware of.
No, you don't even fire up a grill?
I'm sure the wife will do something.
You don't fire up the grill?
You're
You're not the chef master?
I am the least chef masters of chef masters.
Now, come on. Now, I can't cook a lick other than breakfast, but even I am a mean grill cooker.
I can make toast.
You can't put a couple of steaks on the Barbie?
I can pour breakfast cereal and add milk. Where am I? That's pretty low on the pole, isn't it?
That's ridiculous. That's absolutely absurd.
I have been known to fry an egg, but I haven't done that in a long time.
And you come from a gargantuan family.
Oh, yeah.
How many brothers and sisters again?
I was the youngest of 9.
How in the world?
Around, it was, just survive.
How in the world did you not grow up, fighting for food and not making your own damn food?
Well, I was a little bit of a fighter. Yes. I mean, it was just there was just too many people around to not have scraps, but they weren't bad.
And you never learned how to cook out of sheer survival?
No, my survival was, I worked a lot. And when I worked, I bought my own food. Like, I'd eat out. Well, I don't know what you'd call it, fast food or find a way, but
wow.
I did not. Now, Mom would make us breakfast on like Saturdays and Sundays. But other than that, it was, oh my gosh, breakfast cereal, I think, was 2 meals for me because I'd be hungry at night. So I'd eat And of course, we didn't have much money, so I grew up on non-fat powdered milk, right? So it's not like it was that rich. So I mean, if I was hungry at night, I'd have a bowl of cereal.
I am the grill master. I can do dogs, burgers, steaks, chops. When I lived on D Street, I had my own little barbecue. They stole it, and I used to barbecue just for no reason at all.
I never picked it up. My dad wasn't into that much.
Even a girl I dated had a little hibachi deal, and we would. She had a little balcony. We would barbecue out on that.
Yeah.
God, there's nothing like fresh steak right off the barbecue, or even just chicken or dogs. I can't believe Chris is even laughing at you, Daniel.
Well, I mean, a lot of people laugh at me. I don't take offense.
Are you barbecuing tomorrow?
Oh, I'm
I
trying
laugh
to,
at
absolutely.
myself.
Not you, Daniel. We know about your lame powdered milk behind.
Okay,
But
let me take mental notes because I might find myself at Ralph's house.
well, no, I've retired. They stole my barbecue.
Although there are a few other people, I said, hey, I might show up. And of course, I was joking. But wouldn't that be funny if I...
Yeah. Are you barbecuing, Mr. Burdick?
I'm going to try to, yes.
Yeah.
Have to go borrow a grill, but yeah.
What are you guys barbecuing?
I have not figured that out yet. Probably try tipper steaks.
Have you purchased them yet?
No, I plan to go to the store tomorrow.
Okay. That'll be a nightmare. Oh yeah, we get paid tonight, don't we?
It's the plan. I hope.
Yeah,
Whoa,
we
get
will
paid
at midnight.
For the 4th, that's nice.
Yeah, we get paid on the 5th of the month, and since it falls on a weekend, we should get paid tonight. I'm guessing.
Question to you two.
Yes.
It'll be the 4th will be as festive because it seems like half the world is disappointed in us.
No, they've started already. At least in my neighborhood. I was just saying because Scott was saying that the mortars have started in his neighborhood, and somebody else was in here. Who was in here earlier this week? Said they've started. Kathy Abernathy said they've started in her neighborhood. I was like, well, not mine. Well, I spoke too soon.
To me, they've been quieter than normal.
Well, they started up last night, and I've got another screamer every night. Same guy.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What's he scream? What? Can you say it on the radio?
Ah! What's that? I said there. 7-Eleven. Lozenges. Baskin Robbins. Are you kidding? There's no rhyme or reason to what this guy.
One night that might be somewhat entertaining. Like what? This can't. But
no, it's like clockwork. Right around 11 o'clock. I'm serious.
How long does it last? I mean,
about an hour or so, or until I fall asleep.
Or moves on.
I guess, but it's been the last 4 nights, like clockwork. Because at first, I went outside because I thought it was somebody my neighbor was dating. Because he's right outside our gate, so I thought they were going at it at the car.
Oh, I see.
So I stuck my head out my front door. And no, he was just standing at our post post thing where our mail comes and just screaming his head off.
Yeah, well, that'll keep people away, I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't want to go through your gate if I got out and saw that guy doing that.
I know. Imagine coming home to that.
A poor lady.
That's what I'm saying.
Getting off work and having to go past that to get to your house.
And one of my neighbors works late. She closes a Starbucks.
I was just having this conversation with why do we have to go? Because he said he used to run along the Kern River, and it got to the point where he was having some a little bizarre encounters with the homeless down there. And so he called the police to kind of tell him, and they said, it's getting pretty sketchy down there. You may want to find somewhere else to run. And I thought, why do we have to change our behavior for the way society is becoming when we used to just take care of that?
Yeah, I'm growing weary. I really am of the money.
I don't think. And then I thought more about it, and we constantly do. Well, I can't stop here, or I won't stop here at night, or this area is bad, or this area is okay, or I don't know, or if I'm going to go out, I want to do it before dark, or whatever the case. I don't know, but why? It seems odd that in today's world, we have to change when there's nothing wrong with, I don't go into a convenience store at 10 p.m. if you want to get some ice cream or something. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I don't walk around my neighborhood that late. I'll tell you that.
I mean, and I get that. I mean, but that's not right. I mean, it's your neighborhood. You should be able to do what you want.
Yeah. I don't know, Daniel.
Sorry, I'm getting off on
Yeah, a little tangent. Let's talk about the big beautiful bill. It's now a law, or at least it will be by 2:00 tomorrow afternoon when the president signs it on our birthday.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Oh boy, I would love to be not mildly. I would love to be more optimistic than I probably am, just because I do think there's some good stuff in there. I'm glad the tax cuts are now permanent.
Thank you, Jesus.
That's a big one.
Big one.
And a lot of the stuff I don't think will be as bad, because I think a lot of these places undercount what the growth aspect
Exactly.
is.
Exactly.
What would Ralph Bailey do if he had $1,000 more bucks in his pocket every month?
I'm going to spend it. I'm going to be a consumer.
And our society is a consumer-driven economy. So
Yep.
what will that do to the businesses around there?
They will thrive.
And then if they're thriving, they're making more
Money.
They're making more money. They're paying more
Taxes.
and everybody wins.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. I think it is part of the Trump obsession with these people that they just automatically go to the negative.
They choose the other side.
Absolutely. I mean, the classic example was Fordo. The Pentagon is now saying that they are firmly convinced that we have backed up the Iranian nuclear process and program by at least 2 years.
Awesome.
And that first week, those first 72 hours, they were insisting that we barely busted a paper bag.
Trump said obliterated, and it might just be delayed.
Yeah. And that's
okay. Thank you.
That's good with me. That's good with me.
Delayed is better than letting them do what they were doing.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I don't know why but Trump makes them do that better than anybody else.
Yeah. What about the SNAP program, Medicaid?
Well, I would like to again be optimistic and believe those who state that it doesn't really knock people off. I mean, you may have to qualify, and if you don't qualify, then you have to apply for an exemption, and if you do all that, then you may get the benefit itself. But there should be an incentive for people to get off those programs,
right?
Not become a way of life on those programs.
Yep.
And I don't know how else you do that, but I mean, if you give little Johnny ice cream every day, all day, he's going to like ice cream and want it.
It is the single hardest thing to do in government, is to take back something you have given.
Absolutely.
Even if it's undeserved. And for these people that are refusing to work and are still sucking on the government teat and getting Medicare, and undocumented workers that are taking up space and valuable space in hospitals.
Yeah, and the Democrats.
What do you want us to do?
That it's a cut. It's a cut.
Yeah.
No, I gave Ralph 4 last year. I'm giving him 3.5 this year. It's not a cut. He's still getting 3.5.
And it's not the president's fault that the Biden administration opened the floodgates and allowed millions of illegal, undocumented people to reside here or to squat here.
Yeah.
And this is the reality, because Medicaid and Social Security are not sustainable. That's the message they have to get out to people, that by the time Chris Burdick is my age, Social Security may not even exist.
And I think
people think
that argument.
And people think that's a joke. Just look at the numbers. I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, that's kind of a lot of the stuff we've been talking to is why I think they won't be as festive on the 4th. But maybe it's the opposite. They're so upset they'll fire off more festive rounds.
Well, the Republicans were dancing through the streets this morning when they got this thing across the goal line.
That was a little. That was good.
Mike Johnson went on, and Scalise and some woman I'd never heard of, and they were just partying it up, boy.
Yeah, I thought, oh no, if we have to send it back to the Senate back and forth, it's going to end up being impassable. But
We lose Thomas Massey and Brian Fitzpatrick, however, the 2 no votes.
yeah, but
They're done. I just hope they are in safe Republican seats so that whoever Trump sicks on them can still maintain the seat.
we just have to make sure we have good candidates.
Yeah.
Because I think a good candidate can survive even, much better in a purple area.
Well, that's what I'm saying about David Valdeo. I'm worried for him. I'm concerned. He's certainly opened up a hole for Jasmine Baines, but unlike Mr. Turnipseed, who thinks he's going to lose that seat, I think he's going to stave her off. I think they're going to bring Donald Trump out here a couple of times. I think Kevin McCarthy will be on the stump for him. And I think that he has created a good enough record that those people know who he is and will stay with him. You don't change horses in the middle of the stream.
I agree with you. I think he'll win.
I do too.
We'll go with that.
But let's take a look at all the numbers.
Well, let's start with the debt. Again, I mean, a little bit different, but it was still up a little over 29 billion.
God.
So same old there. Gold and silver were volatile, but both ended slightly up for the week.
Yeah.
Gold, last I checked, was at 31.30. It was is up only, oh goodness, what is that? Up a few bucks. And silver was at 36.85, so that was up 15 cents. It was a volatile week, but they ended up just slightly up where they were last Thursday. And the market seems to be liking things. You and I talked about no news about the tariffs, and lo and behold, we've got a little progress there with Vietnam.
Yep, I mentioned that.
India's around the corner.
Yep.
So that was nice. We
Yep.
were a little clairvoyant on that topic,
Mhm.
Rob Bailey.
That's funny.
Very good for you, Rob Bailey.
Which one went up?
Thank you.
What's that?
I want to thank you.
Oh, Lord.
And I want to thank you. No, because I think there are a lot of people. I mean, there's been times in my life where you're down or you're not doing well, and what you look forward to a mundane thing that perks you up for the week. And I think with some people, the radio show does that for them, and I think that's awesome. And it may not mean much to others, but for some people in the darkest of times, that can be a big thing. And so I think that's important.
Well,
and I want to thank you for that.
Well, thank you. I think you're giving me entirely too much credit, but thank
what you and I may assume is a nothing is big to other people, and we can't measure that. Only other people's, what it does for other people can do that. But I know that it does that for some people, because there's a lot of people that listen, and that's it's important, and and then things change for them and their life comes around and they may still listen, but it got them through a rough patch, and I think that's awesome.
Well, I appreciate that, Daniel. That's a great point to end on because I'm running out of time. Have a wonderful weekend wherever you end up going to dinner or making your wife cook. Because
I'll be on the prowl for a grill somewhere.
Don't barbecue on 4th of July.
Be festive, be safe, and happy 4th.
You as well, my friend. Thank you so much. All right. Talk to you next week.
Okay, bye-bye.
Daniel Petrie. It's one of the weirdest shows we've ever had. Ragon comes on and just rambles about 6 or 7 different topics. None related. Still didn't really want to drop. Well, he kind of confessed. He's moving to Philly. He's got a new hospital chain that he's working with. His boss from Ascension moved to Philly and asked him to come with him. Plus, he's a New York boy. He's closer to New York City. And then Mr. Turnipseed led the Jasmine Baines for Congress half hour. And then Daniel Petrie just called me a savior. It's a weird Thursday broadcast. And how thrilling it must be for you all to watch me sit here and talk to somebody on the phone. I'm just sitting here like this. Must be fascinating. I think we've got 7 people watching us. Quick timeout. We'll check the board. We haven't done that all day. Then we'll get into the 5. We'll talk about Clayton Campbell's big night. Chavez Ravine becoming only the 20th player in Major League Baseball history to reach 3,000 strikeouts. Only the 4th left-hander, and I think only the 4th player to do it in the very same uniform.
I believe it's the 2nd. I think that's what Alex meant this morning.
The 2nd?
I'm going to double check that, but someone texted in and told us that.
Well, I know Walter Johnson did it. And did Randy Johnson leave Seattle?
Yeah, because he played for the Diamondbacks for a while.
Oh, that's right. Maybe that's what he was talking about. I don't know. We'll check the board. Yeah, maybe. Quick timeout. Coming right back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Thursday right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What is the Armstrong and Getty Show?
Well, I'll tell you what it's not. The old style of talk radio where you're always screaming our side's always right, your side's always wrong, or taking a bunch of long, dull calls. Now we take a fast-paced look at the events of the day, the issues, the controversies, with a skeptical eye and a somewhat humorous tongue.
We try to be funny. We'll leave that up to you to determine whether or not you think it's funny. It's the Armstrong and Getty Show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Attention, Medicare beneficiaries here in Kern County. If you
Is
are
that right?
eligible for Medicare and looking for a doctor who listens and cares about
Bob
you,
Gibson,
wait
Walter
times,
Johnson, and him.
authorizations, it's time you learn
Really
about
company.
Qualcare IPA. Qualcare IPA contracts with most Medicare Advantage health plans and provides you with access to a
What'd
large
you
network
say?
of outstanding doctors and quality hospitals right here in Kern County. Medicare Advantage health plans go beyond
Bad.
original Medicare
Bad.
benefits and coverage. And understanding these coverage differences may be confusing. Call us today, 661-554-4544. Let us help you understand your healthcare options for 2025. Call today, 661-554-4544.
He can't lead a team. He never did.
554
He never did.
4544. Get the information you need.
Yeah.
Coverage you deserve. For accommodations of persons with special needs at meetings, call 661-554-4544. TTY 711.
You have 3 ex-wives. And
Really?
your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider. 800-555-1500.
So how many do they get a season,
Who's
roughly?
intimately familiar with your problems. And if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonable
Yeah.
health, about $1
So
million
sales gonna get there?
policy should only cost about $100 to $200.
Yeah. Isn't he injured?
Big Lou makes
Isn't he injured now?
previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-555.
Blew off my date.
09. That's 800-555.
Blew off my date.
09 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-555.
She ain't listening. She's working.
800-555-1509.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Eight 842 KERN. Want to thank Daniel Petrie. Not barbecuing is like not knowing how to change a tire. I mean, that's like the man
Is it
role.
the manhood rite of passion?
Yes.
You think? Yeah.
You ever seen a wife on the grill?
That's fair.
You ever seen your mom on a grill? Your grandmother on a grill?
No, though my sister gets on a grill sometimes.
Yeah. Is
Yeah,
she
but
single?
She can cook on a grill.
Is she single? No. She's married and she does the grill?
No. Don't get me wrong. My brother-in-law cooks on the grill too.
Okay.
I'm just saying my sister knows her way around.
She can get down. I don't know.
I'm just saying I agree with you. The fact
It's
that
like
you didn't know the fact you don't know how to cook is baffling to me.
I mean, I don't know how to cook, but I know how to cook. You know what I'm saying?
If you could cook something, I say you know how to cook.
I can do spaghetti. I do a mean spaghetti. I can barbecue steaks, pork chops.
You can sustain yourself.
I broiled a steak in my oven fairly recently.
Right.
That was a nightmare because I had to light the pilot light. I was really scared about that. Yeah, I was a little nervous about that because I have a gas stove. And I'm a mean breakfast guy. Oh, I'm a mean breakfast guy. I make my junk in the trunk omelet. Oh, unbelievable. Avocado, onions, sour cream, meat of choice. It can be tri-tip, chili, meat of choice. Did I mention avocado? And that's about it. And I do a mean French toast, as I've always said. Nutmeg and cinnamon and just a skosh of vanilla in the batter. Just saying. 842-5376, 842-KERN. What do you got on the board?
Ralph Primetime Barbecue on 20th has some nice 4th of July meat deals. Steaks, chicken, hamburger, and hot dogs.
You know, that's not a bad idea, and that is within walking distance of my house. However, I woke up this morning out of nowhere, with gout in my left foot.
Ouch, man.
And I'm just praying. That's why I'm not going out tonight. I was supposed to go out tonight, and I just can't do it. I'm not going to be limping around all night long. And I got to get ready for Sunday because I got to play Sunday. I've got no steps all week long. I haven't, during the broadcast, and you'll learn this because you're watching, some of you, I get up at the top and the bottom of the hour and do a lap around our complex. And I haven't done that all week just because this heat, I can't handle it. And plus it's horrible to get all funky, come back in here when you've got guests. One more, and let's get into the 5.
The National Democrat Party has been after the 22nd District for many years. Valadao has weathered the storm every time except for the time they were able to get that crook TJ Cox across the finish line.
Yeah, but the problem is that was the year of Obamacare, and that's how they defeated him. That he had voted against Obamacare, and Obamacare was pretty doggone popular in the 22nd District. Because as we found out, it wasn't really about the candidate. TJ Cox was a POS and criminal, we would later find out. So that's what frightens me. It was Obamacare that did his vote on Obamacare that did him in that one year. I believe it was 2018. We'll see. It's all depending on how hard Donald Trump will work for him. If Trump comes out here twice, once at the onset, and then once maybe a month, well, now you got to go a little earlier because of the mail-in ballots, but maybe 6 weeks before the election, Trump comes out, has a big rally, holds David's hand up. I think he can stave off Baines. And remember, Baines hasn't even announced yet. This is all our pure assumptions.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. By a 218 to 214 margin, the House passed President Trump's budget bill. After the vote, House Speaker Mike Johnson reacted to the passage of the legislation.
For this last election cycle, we're in deep trouble. And we knew that if we won, and we believe we would, we knew that if we got unified government, we'd have to quite literally fix every area of public policy. Everything was an absolute disaster under the Biden-Harris radical, woke, progressive Democrat regime. And we took the best effort that we could in one big, beautiful bill to fix as much of it as we could. And I am so grateful to God that we got that done as we did.
The bill now goes to President Trump for his signature. The legal battle over transgender athletes in girls' sports will go before the Supreme Court. Correspondent Jennifer King reports on one of those cases up for review.
West Virginia is appealing a lower court ruling that found their ban violates the rights of Becky Pepper Jackson, who sued the state in middle school because she wanted to compete in track. Just 2 weeks ago, the court upheld a ban on gender-affirming care for transgender youth. And this week, the University of Pennsylvania modified records set by a transgender swimmer, Leah Thomas.
The second case comes from the state of Idaho. In all, more than 24 states have enacted laws barring transgender athletes from participating in girls' sports competitions. President Trump is complaining that the United States provided too many weapons to Ukraine under the previous administration. Trump gave his first public comments Thursday on the pause in some shipments as Russia escalates its latest offensive. Trump told reporters, "We have to make sure we have enough for ourselves," and added that we've given so many weapons. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If you're living with pain, see how Relief Factor can help.
I'm an artist and I'm in my studio. I listen to the radio all day and I'm hearing the ads about Relief Factor. And I've got pain in my neck and it's getting worse. And I'm thinking, well, I'm going to go ahead and order this. 2 weeks later, I've got much better range of motion. If you're experiencing pain at a certain point in life, I would get Relief Factor.
Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. Go to relieffactor.com and get your 3-week quick start today. Only $19.95.
Dr. Howard DC, founder of Balance of Nature and formulator of the fruits and veggies and fiber and spice supplements, has teamed up with veterinarian Dr. Jake to create Dr. Fido's Dog Food Topper, a tasty, nutritious way to enrich your dog's meals. Just scoop, sprinkle, and stir. Call 888-388-7297 or go to drfidos.com, drphytos.com. And for a limited time, order now and receive a 10% discount with our money-back guarantee by using promo code BALANCE.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. A traffic stop leads to 2 people being arrested on gun and drug charges. Delano police were performing an operation to target drug and gang activity. Officers did a traffic stop on a purple Volkswagen Beetle in the 1800 block of Garces Highway on code violations. Officers say they found drug paraphernalia on 34-year-old Luis Alberto Rojas, who was driving the car. They also found what appeared to be meth near the driver's side door. During the search, detectives also report finding a gun with no serial number, otherwise known as a ghost gun. His passenger, 32-year-old Elizabeth Alvela Gamino, also faces firearm-related charges.
Look at this fool.
BGYN has agreed to surrender his medical license. Dr. Arthur Park was placed on probation for alleged medical.
What else has he got to do today?
Patients.
I should ride that mofo home.
Dismissive over symptoms of what.
Honestly, he probably wouldn't care if you did.
Then I would have to go down H. There's no way I could do Oak. No way.
Imagine coming down that hill on that bike, dog.
No, getting up. Hell yeah, I was just saying I should ride it home.
Many of the policies suggested would have been devastating, but he was able to keep.
Getting over Oak would be a bitch.
Congressman Fong says that
getting over Oak would be a bitch.
For working families and small businesses. An explosive fire is burning west of Kern County. Crews are working to get control of the fire.
I ended up in the middle of Truxton.
County. So far, the fire has burned over 35,000 acres. As of this morning, it was only 5% contained. The fire was first reported a little after 1 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get up close like this. Little thing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the week as we wrap up another 4 days of outstanding radio broadcasting right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We still got lots to do in our final hour before we go on our 3-day hiatus. Be back on Monday, obviously. Talk a little bit about Sean Combs, who is wasting away in prison, waiting for his sentencing in October. The judge in his 7-week trial, surprisingly, did not provide the music mogul with bail, despite the fact that we're willing to give up $1 million bail bond. They're going to give $1 million. And after dodging the most serious charges, the racketeering charges, the judge still wouldn't let him out. Think about the mind screw, and I cleaned that up, that Diddy went through yesterday. Because he had to think, and his lawyers had to say, we'll have you out of here by the end of the night. There's no way she won't give you bail. You're not a flight risk. Where are you going to go? We had H.A. Sala talk about that. I have no room for that anywhere on the rundown. Did you cut the spots from H.A.? Okay. I don't have it on the rundown. I have the audio down here, but I don't have any spot for it because I was going to talk Dodger baseball to start the hour. Sports Illustrated is reporting that Max Muncy is going on the IL. Let me just read this. Please stand by. Where are my glasses? They're on the ground. The Los Angeles Dodgers have lost third baseman Max Muncy for an indefinite amount of time thanks to a bone bruise suffered Wednesday night. While the timeline for his return is unknown, in parentheses, they have, though Muncy shared informally that he expects to be out at least 6 weeks. The Dodgers have to make a decision regarding the newly open spot in their lineup. In 81 games this season, Muncy is hitting .250, which is amazing because a month ago, 6 weeks ago, he was in the hundreds.
Yeah, couldn't hit water.
And he had like 3 home runs. Now has 13 and 55 RBIs. So he's on a 100 RBI pace. That's all I give a damn about. I think RBIs are the most important hitting stat there is. If you can get hits when guys are in scoring position and you can score us runs and you can knock in 100 runs a season, I'll live with 250. I'll live with 250. And he's got 13 home runs. So we're looking at minimum 20, maybe 25, 250, 25, and 100 RBIs. I'm good. Now, Sports Illustrated takes a real big whack at Max. Listen to this. As usual, he's providing lots of power and on-base prowess while being a below-average defender. Yeah, that's what I said.
Usually the gripe against Max isn't the defense; it's the fact that he can't keep that average pretty high. But
he's not an elite third baseman. He's not an Arenado, and he's not. I mean, there's so many Machado. I mean, there's so many I could mention.
He was technically second in the All-Star voting,
but he's not below average. He's average. He makes the plays. He's not going to make a barehanded running to the plate off balance. No, he's not going to make that play. But you hit a line drive that he's got a short hop, or you hit a ball that is fair, but he feels it in foul ground and has to make a throw behind third base, you can count on Max for that. He might bounce it, but Freddie will make the pick. Not worried about that. But damn, being a below average defender with plenty of strikeouts. Ouch. It's true though. He does K a lot. Here are the 3 options that Sports Illustrated says the Dodgers have. Kike Hernandez.
That's the easy option. but,
Yeah,
it's nothing to
he's not. Hernandez is almost certain to get the first crack at replacing Muncy. The 12-year veteran has spent 9 years of his career in Los Angeles and is a trusted member of the organization. A pure utility man, he can play all over the diamond. He spent time at third base over the years and has 9 appearances there in 2015. This would be the whole serve option. The Dodgers have enough offense that his 204 batting average. I got a problem with that. Wouldn't hurt them much. He'd play adequate defense and has a penchant for coming through in the clutch. That's true. I love him in the playoffs. I don't know what happens. They're just some guys that rise up when the light is brightest. And Kike really is one of those guys. You could argue that we don't win the World Series without him. You really could. He also wouldn't cost them anything in prospects to acquire like other options will. Eugenio Suarez. This guy's a badass. Have you seen this guy play? Suarez for the Diamondbacks?
Yes.
Suarez would be the swing for the fence option. The Diamondback slugger would require a haul of prospects, given that he's one of the National League's best power hitters and would be coming from a division rival. Why would the Diamondbacks give us this guy? That's just stupid. Unless we give them a ton of prospects. The 33-year-old is in the final year of his contract. That's problematic. So now you're renting him, basically.
That's why they want to ship him out, because they're probably not going to be able to resign the guy.
No, they're never going to resign him. No way in the world. And is playing like it. He is hitting .250 with 26 home runs, 69 ribbies at the halfway mark. That's 140 RBI base. I mean, he's probably not going to get to 140, but okay, 115, 120. Okay, I'll take it every time. The latter two numbers both rank second in the National League. And finally, the aforementioned Nolan Arenado. Everyone has known for months that the Cardinals would love to move Arenado, who is a no-trade clause, and he'd almost certainly welcome a trade back to his Southern California home. The 8-time All-Star and 10-time Gold Glover would be a major upgrade over Muncy defensively, though he isn't the hitter he once was. That's the issue. He's old, and he's shown no signs of who he was, 3-4 years ago? The 8-time All-Star and 10-time, isn't better. So far in 2025, he's hitting .247 with 10 home runs and 41 RBIs in 80 games. See, that's below Muncy. That's problematic. Arenado had 3 years. Listen to this. Arenado had 3 years and $74 million left on his contract entering the 2025 season. So St. Louis would likely have to eat some of that to get anything of value from the Dodgers. LA could drive a hard bargain to take on the 34-year-old. Yeah, we're not going to give them much for their Arenado. If you're going to give up something, you go with Suarez. How old is Suarez? Let me see. It doesn't say 33. He's 33. So yeah, you go with Suarez and you sign him to a 2-year extension. Because the Dodgers now themselves, we've always been kind of a great draw, great stadium, great weather. You get to live in Malibu or Brentwood or Bel Air or wherever the hell you want to live. Hell, you could live in Calabasas for all they care. One of the great cities to live in if you've got tons and tons of money. And you're going to be in the playoffs every year. Every year. You're playing alongside Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, and Max Muncy. Come on, that's a draw in and of itself. I would, if I were the Dodgers, I would give up on Muncy. You really think he's going to come back and be the Max Muncy he was when he got injured last night? Like, it's going to take him, let's say he's out for a month and a half. So now where are we? July? So now we're in late August. It's right around playoff time, and he's just coming back. We're just now sending him to Oklahoma City in late August. trying to get ready for September. I don't know if the Guggenheim's going to play it like that. What do you got? I'm making you the Dodger general manager. What do? Do you go with Kike, save some money, and wait for Max to come back and just put him back in the lineup in September? Do you blow out Kike and a couple of prospects, send him over to Arizona, try to get Suarez? Or for lesser prospects and probably Kike, do you go get Arenado?
I'd probably do the Arenado deal just because that would be short-lived and you could still hold on to Max for afterwards. And Max could come in as a DH whenever you needed to. Or if you want to give Shohei a day off after he pitches, like you honestly probably should.
Thank you.
And on the Suarez deal is difficult because, one, it's interdivision. You never see those trades ever in sports. And
yeah, they'd be stupid as hell to give us Suarez.
Exactly. And like you just said, it would be a 1-year trial deal, which I don't think you would be willing to put down the money to really extend him that long. So you'd be giving up a ton of prospects for really nothing.
And 33 ain't that young.
No, it's not. So
how old is Max? Hey, Siri, how old is Max Muncy? Max is 34. I don't know.
I say you go get Arenado for a year, see how that works out. It's at least a defensive upgrade. And then you see what happens after this year.
10 home runs, 247. Yeah. But you put him in front of somebody. You put him in front of Teo, maybe. And maybe, he's a better hitter.
Usually when a change of scenery comes for big players like this, so we'll take Albert Pujols, for example. Although didn't play for you guys a whole ton, usually when he came up to bat, at least he was pretty dang good for you. So maybe a move for Arenado will revigorate his offense and actually bring him back to what he used to be.
Pujols had one good season with us. I forget which one it was, but he had one pretty good season with us as a very old man. He's one of the most underrated hitters in baseball history.
Really is.
Because those 10 years when he was in St. Louis, you look at some of those numbers, and those are Gehrig numbers. You look at those numbers for 10 straight years when he was in St. Louis, when he was in his mid-20s to his early 30s, and those are Lou Gehrig numbers, where he was knocking in 150 ribbies a night, a season, and hitting like 340. I'm not sure if he ever won a Silver Slugger or batting title, but Pujols was one of the most underrated hitters in baseball history. He really, really was. It's fun to watch, too.
Yes, he won the Silver Slugger 6 times in his career.
6 times.
2021, 23, 4, 8, 9, and 10.
I'm not sure if he won it, and he won it 6 times. He was a badass, I'm telling you. Let's go ahead and take a break. We come back. We'll check the board, see what you guys are talking about. We've got some audio. We had H.A. Sala, noted defense attorney, on the broadcast yesterday, got his thoughts on the Combs trial. Sean, waiting in a detention center in New York City, did not get bail yesterday. He'll be sitting in jail until October. Until then, he's shipped off to another federal prison where I'm expecting he'll do about, I'm guessing, 2.5 tops. Tops. Just doesn't seem right. Quick time out. It's a Thursday. Our final broadcast of the week. Right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What is the Armstrong and Getty Show?
Well, I'll tell you what it's not. The old style of talk radio where you're always screaming our side's always right, your side's always wrong, or taking a bunch of long, dull calls. Now we take a fast-paced look at the events of the day, the issues, the controversies, with a skeptical eye and a somewhat humorous tongue.
We try to be funny. We'll leave that up to you to determine whether or not you think it's funny. It's the Armstrong and Getty Show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Look who's here. It's the Valprado.
Hear me? All right, so the 3 bites I cut from HA. I got him when you asked him if the jury understood RICO. Him explaining that the jury did not believe the victims. And then I got him the comparison between Gotti and Combs in their trials.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Evan?
Huh? Said thanks.
Our best sellers are the pasta sauce, Luigi seasoning, freshly sliced meats and cheeses, specialty food items, and of course, my passion, our wine shop. To see plenty of details and all the happiness at Luigi's, go to our social media at Shop Luigi's on Facebook or Luigi's.
Oh, is he about to speak?
On Instagram.
Luigi's Restaurant and Old World Delicatessen, where friends meet. It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Adaptive Network. You probably heard me talk about Adaptive Network for the last couple of months. We've teamed up with them because I
got it right here.
Okay. Is that ahead of you?
No, it's behind.
That's behind?
Yeah, I'm ahead of it. So I'll let you know when he comes up. It'll probably be honestly like right when we come back from this break.
First thing I do is take an absolutely free security assessment. Call Adaptive Networks today at 2.
Can you throw it on in here?
0638. Don't wait until it's too late. By the time a business realizes their IT is bad, they're usually already in crisis. Adaptive Network makes it simple.
No
jargon, just absolute results. And
I don't know if we can like with the stream, but that's anyway.
0638. Adaptive Network, your IT partner in Bakersfield, making it simple, stable, and secure.
Hey, it's JR for Bakersfield Weight Loss. Yes, 25 pounds lighter and still keeping the weight off. I swear, everywhere I go, everybody wants to know, how did I do it? They're like, JR, are you doing those GLP-1s? Are you taking the shots, the injections? What's going on? Heck no, I would never take injections or drugs to lose weight, ever. That's why I love Bakersfield Weight Loss. It's all natural. Not only that, they've taught me how to reset my metabolism. That's right, that's the secret. Maybe you're currently using semaglutide injections, or maybe you had to stop taking them because of bad side effects, or your insurance no longer covers the treatment, or because you've gained all the weight back. Don't give up. Go to BakersfieldWeightLoss.com. They can help. Again, they helped me last year lose 25 pounds. Not only that, I've kept the weight off. Give them a call. It's a free consultation. 661-449-1150. 661-449-1150 or online at BakersfieldWeightLoss.com.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Psycho Alpha Disco Beta Bio Aqua Jewelry. Psycho Alpha Disco Beta Bio Human Jewelry.
Is he up? The president is speaking in Des Moines, Iowa. Let's go to the Midwest, shall we?
That's pretty good. And won by a lot, but I'm thrilled to be back in a state that I love, and I really do love it too, with thousands of proud, hardworking patriots at the world-famous Iowa State Fairgrounds. Thank you. Thank you. 18 months ago, the people of Iowa braved sub-zero temperatures. You remember that night? Oh, that was cold. It was cold, but we were warm inside because we won by a landslide to turn out the first in the nation caucuses, and you delivered 98 out of 99 counties. What the hell county didn't? What's the name of that county? Let's get them out of here. 98 out of 99, that's not bad, Susie, I guess, right? We'll take that. But for President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, thank you very much, everybody. Then in November, we won Iowa by a landslide, 13 points, and it was the single largest presidential victory in your state's history. That's not bad. And now we're back where it all started to celebrate 5 months of incredible success for our nation and wish the Iowans and all Americans a very happy 4th of July. It's an honor to be with you. You know, a lot of people wanted us. When you're president, they want you. And if you're not president, they don't want you so much. But they really wanted us. And I said, nope, I'm going to Iowa because I promised I would go to Iowa. Sorry. I said, no way. There could be no better birthday present for America than the phenomenal victory we achieved just hours ago when Congress passed the one big, beautiful bill to make America great again. Right? And in the last election, the people gave us a historic mandate to cut taxes, raise take-home pay, bring back jobs, stop the invasion, that horrible invasion. Who would do that? Who would do that? That horrible, who would do that to us? Who would do that to us? Deport the illegals and slash hundreds of billions of dollars of waste and fraud, and that's what we're doing. With this bill, every major promise I made to the people of Iowa in 2024 became a promise kept. You know, they had a report today on some crazy fake station, but it wasn't fake in this regard. They said, you know, this guy actually did more than he promised. I did. And I have another hat back there. It says, Donald Trump was right about everything. And I said, no, that sounds a little too conceited, but it happens to be true, I must say. This bill includes the largest tax cut in American history, the largest spending cut in American history, the largest border security investment in American history, although I must tell you, if you saw last month, they had 0 people coming through our borders. 0. I'm not sure that's even possible. You know, I'll take it, but somebody must have got it. The other character had hundreds of thousands of people every time. Sometimes in a day, they'd have over 100,000. We had 0, I don't know, for the month. It must be a little wrong. Maybe they're 2 or 3 or something, but I'll take the 0. And the group that makes up those stats, you know, they're radical left Democrats, so it's probably true. We did a great job on the border. The largest welfare reforms and military upgrades in modern times. It's what we're doing. We rebuilt our military in 2016 in their first term. We rebuilt it. They gave some of it away to Afghanistan on the most embarrassing day in the history of our country. Remember that? Remember that? We don't have days like that. We have days like we just had in Iran.
I just read the shit, and we were just talking about because I was reading the options, and Sports Illustrated put it up. They put up that they could either go with Kike, they could trade for Suarez, the kid in Arizona, but the Diamondbacks are going to want a lot, and it's a rent. Yeah, so you go with Kike. That's what I'm saying.
Once he comes back, he's been on fire. You want it back in the lineup. So just, mix it.
Just go with Kike.
But we really had independence now over.
And you don't have to give up much.
You look at it.
That's what Chris says. Go with Arenado. I just think he's too old. I think he's done. 247, 10 home runs. Yeah. Exactly. And those aren't even Muncie numbers. Yeah.
These people were fools. They allowed it to happen.
What are we doing at the bottom?
Cured inflation. Your gas prices are way down.
Just let it go.
But the one thing is hard. It's hard to think of the time we spent on having murderers and gang members and prisoners from all over the world come into our country. We're getting them out fast, but it's a terrible thing what they've done to our country, and I hope you remember it, what they've done to our country, our beautiful country. 11,888 murderers came
Call
into our
Coconut
country,
Joe's.
and some we've already gotten out, but it's terrible. Many of them, more than 50% murdered more than one person.
Hey Siri.
And they let them come into our
Call
beautiful
Coconut Joe's.
Just as I promised, we're making the Trump tax cuts permanent and delivering no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on social. Front row Joe. We got a lot of front row Joes here. That's very nice. Thank you. Thank you. And we have Mr. Wall. Someday I'm buying that suit. I'm telling you. I like that
Like
suit.
to make an
I'll
order
walk up
to
one
go?
day, I'll be dressed like a Wall, just like you. I think he's come to about 200 rallies. And that means you like
619
us. And I think he's a
661
very
619
successful guy.
6571.
He's a top accountant. Can you believe this? And he comes to rallies, he likes the rallies.
Yes.
Front row Joes, they're all successful.
Yes.
But this is what they do for entertainment. But now it's
I'll do
not
the two-piece
entertainment.
chicken, dark,
We've saved our country.
with
We've got the
beans
hottest
and rice
country
and two
anywhere
salsas.
in the world, as said by many, many leaders of other countries.
No, thank you.
And we will ignite trillions of dollars
That's
of
it.
economic growth, increase take-home pay for the typical family by more than $10,000 a year.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be there at 6. Thank you.
And very importantly for Iowa, this bill
Okay,
rescues
bye-bye.
over 2 billion family farms from the so-called estate tax or the death tax. In other words,
How long are you gonna let it go?
you were losing farms to the banks.
How long are you gonna let it go?
You were losing the farms like nobody's ever seen before. You love your children. You don't feel so well. You pass away. You leave everything to your children, and they have to pay a big estate tax.
If I
for
turn
death
this off, will
taxes
they be able to hear Trump?
and they couldn't do it. They go
Why you
out and
leave it?
borrow money, and all of a sudden the bank is foreclosing on the farm. Not going to happen. You have no more estate tax. You have no more death tax to pay. Now that's if you love your children. If you don't love your children, it doesn't matter. Just forget about what I said. It's not going to help. But if you love them, or if you love somebody that you're leaving it to, think of that. No death tax, no estate
Hello?
tax, no going to the banks and borrowing from, in some cases, a fine banker, and in some cases, Shylocks and bad people. But they took away a lot of family. They destroyed a lot of families. But we did the opposite. So just remember, to me, it's so important, and it was mostly important for places like we're at right now. It's really, I'm so proud of it. At the same time, this bill cuts $1.5 trillion in spending. So wasteful spending is being cut by $1.5 trillion. And I got to tell you, I want to thank Republican congressmen and women, because what they did is incredible last night. And the Senate, the Republican Senate, we got, not with all of the things we did with the tax cuts and rebuilding our military, not one Democrat voted for us. And I think we use it in the campaign that's coming up, the midterms, because we got to beat them. But all of the things that we've given, and they wouldn't vote only because they hate Trump. But I hate them too, you know that? So it's sort of I really do. I hate them. I cannot stand them because I really believe they hate our country. You want to know the truth? But it kicks illegal aliens off of Medicaid and food stamps and allows us to hire 3,000 new Border Patrol agents and 10,000 new ICE agents, and they are great patriots, the Border Patrol and ICE, to carry out the largest deportation operation in the history of our country. And I don't like saying that. I don't like saying that, but we have a country. We have a country to run, and we have so many people coming in that shouldn't be here. And they did. They came in from prisons, and they came in from drugs and gangs and drug lords, the worst in the world. They came in from mental institutions. They emptied mental institutions into our wonderful country. And I know exactly what's going on in Iowa. You had some horrible crime in Iowa caused by illegal aliens, but we're getting them the hell out of here. We have no choice. And our great, big, beautiful bill, it will build the Golden Dome missile defense shield. We're going to have the best shield. And you saw that just the other day where the missiles are being shot down one after another. You know, they called me to tell me they have to take a shot at us. This was Iran, very respectful. That means they respect us. Because we dropped 14 bombs, they said, we'd like to take 14 shots at you. I said, go ahead, I understand. They said, where they'd do it. I said, good, we emptied out the fort. It was a beautiful military base in Qatar who treated us really fantastically well. And they said, sir, 1 o'clock, okay. I said, it's fine. We could make it later. And we had nobody but 4 gunners. We had 4, they call them gunners, and they shoot the Patriots. They shoot the missiles up. It's hard to believe. So all of a sudden they said, we're ready. And they were a little nervous about doing it, I want to tell you. Can you imagine? They were nice enough. This is Iran to call me and tell me that they would like to shoot me at 14 times. So they want to shoot us. And I said, go ahead. And they shot 14 high-grade, very fast missiles. Every single one of them was shot down routinely by these 4 unbelievable gunmen. And they did their job. And that was the end of that. But the big thing was the attack on their nuclear facilities, what those people did. And you know, they're going to be in Washington tomorrow at the White House. We're going to be celebrating. We took not only the pilots, but the people that flew the other planes, but also the mechanics that had these planes going for 37 hours without a stop. You know, we had 50, it was so far away. We had 52 tankers. Think of that, 52 that's loaded up with oil. I wouldn't want to fly one of those suckers over a random. I say, what happens if they're shot at? Well, sir, that's a tough situation. It's not a pretty sight, but they were unbelievable. 52 tankers to load them up. They followed the planes in, and they never had to stop for fuel. They went 37 hours, actually. And how incredible. What equipment. What equipment. And, you know, China, Russia, they were all watching. Everybody was watching. We have the greatest equipment anywhere in the world. We have the greatest people anywhere in the world. And we have the strongest military anywhere in the world. But we're going to fully modernize our air traffic control system and expand school choice and really so much more. By the way, the air traffic control, you probably don't have that problem here. You know, you have planes land like they, but in some congested areas, you saw what happened with the helicopter and the plane and a lot of other things. If we had great equipment, and we should have had, it was all set up to go. And then Biden canceled the order when he came in, but he canceled a lot of orders because he didn't know what the hell he was doing. There's a case would have never happened. Bells would have gone off. Whistles would have gone off. Everything would have gone off. It would have never happened. Very simply, the one big, beautiful bill would deliver the strongest border on earth, the strongest economy on earth, the strongest military on earth, and ensure the United States of America will remain the strongest country anywhere on this beautiful planet of ours. 165 days into the Trump administration, America is on a winning streak like, frankly, nobody's ever seen before in the history of the presidency. I said, they said, you know, sir, you're going to go down as one of the greatest presidents ever. I said, really? No, I said, really? I said, better than Washington? They said, yes, sir. I said, better than Honest Abe Lincoln? They said, yes, sir. I said, I like this guy that said that. That's a smart guy. He's up for a big promotion right now. But just a few months ago, our country was cold as ice. We were laughed at all over the world. We were laughed at. Think of it. A year ago, we were laughed at. We were a bunch of clowns. They were laughing at our president. They were laughing at everything having to do with our country. I was in Saudi Arabia. I was in Qatar. I was in UAE. Great leaders, strong, powerful, very rich leaders too, by the way, but great leaders, very smart people. And they said to me, the king of Saudi Arabia, but the three said the same thing essentially. They said, you know, a year ago, we thought your country was finished. We thought it was dead, dead, horrible word, dead. And they were right. The country was close to death. And he said, and you know what? You've been in there. At that time, it was 4.5 months. It was a couple of months ago. He said, right now, you're in the hottest country anywhere in the world. There's no country in the world. You talked about all over the world. You got the hottest, smartest, sharpest country. And by the way, look at our stock market. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars on tariffs with no inflation. And today we just set another record, the highest stock market in history. No inflation. And one of the great economists from the Wharton School of Finance, where I happened to go, he apologized. He says, you know, I think Trump outsmarted us all. And yesterday with the poll, and out of 77 economists, I came in second. I want to find the guy that came in first. There's somebody came in first. Can you believe it? But we said what was going to happen, and it's happening. And I'll tell you what, we had the greatest economy in history of my first term. This is going to blow it away. You watch. This is going to blow it away. For the first time in years, this 4th of July, the economy is roaring, incomes are soaring, wages are up, prices are down. Gasoline, you see what's going on with gasoline? It's way down. See what's going on with eggs? Eggs are way down, eggs. Remember I came in my first week, the fake news, those guys right there, look at all of them. Wow, that's a, wow. No, a lot of fake. No, but we like them. It just shows you when you can get every story, 100% of the stories, no matter what you do that's good, they make it as bad as possible. And then you win in a landslide. There's something wrong. But the fake news hit me with eggs. Remember, first week, 4 days, eggs are through the roof. I said, I just got here. What's going on with eggs? Tell me. I didn't hear about it. They're up 5 times higher than they should be. They were going through the roof, but they were blaming me. I said, I just got here. And within 2 months, our great Secretary of Agriculture, who I think is with us tonight, Brooke, where's Brooke? Oh, look at you. Look, she is here. She flew all the way she comes from Texas, but I think she likes Iowa maybe even better. Look at her. You did a good job with groceries and with eggs. We'll tell you, it's true. They said, we have them this time, finally. It took an egg to get me, but that didn't happen either. Now they're down to a normal price, and people are ordering like crazy, but inflation is dead. 401ks and retirement accounts just hit an all-time record high. Did I hear what I think I heard? But we've achieved the lowest level of illegal border crossings in U.S. history, 0 illegals. Think of it. We had 0. And as I said, and I'll say it again, I love it because I have never seen any country suffer. No country has ever. There's never. Don't worry, it's only fireworks. I hope. Famous last words. My famous last words. Trump said, "Don't worry."
So what is this? The last break?
Hey,
this is the last break coming up.
I didn't like that sound either. Yeah. But last month, American-born workers gained 830,000 new jobs, a record.
All right, we're going to break away from the president. He is in Des Moines, Iowa, celebrating the successful passage of the big, beautiful bill by a vote of 218 to 214. It'll now go to his desk literally tomorrow on our birthday. He will sign it. I believe it's 2 o'clock, I believe Pacific time. I think it's 5 o'clock his time, right?
I believe that's what they said. Yeah,
5 o'clock their time. So 2 o'clock our time. He's going to sign this and enact it into law. Let's go ahead and take our final break of the week. Keep it locked. Charlie Kirk at the top of the hour. Again, tomorrow, you'll hear the best of both the JR and the Ralph Bailey Show. And we'll be back with you on Monday with Kathy Abernathy. Teresa Golder returns on Tuesday next week. Very excited as we delve deep into the summer. And then, of course, the first week of August, I'm out of here. Haven't figured out what I'm going to do, where I'm going to go, but I'm going to do something. I just know I ain't going to be here. Tell you that right now. Quick time out. Last of the week. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. And we stream live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
A huge thank you to Chain Cone Clark for helping everyone get home safe from the Battle of the Bartenders. As our statewide home sponsor, you made it possible for guests to enjoy the cocktails, cast their votes, and make it home responsibly. At Chain Cone Clark, it's more than just protecting your rights. It's about protecting our community. From all of us at the Battle of the Bartenders, thank you for keeping safety at the heart of the party. If you're local and you've been injured, hire a local injury law firm.
What about that? Your promo?
Huh?
Promo?
Yeah.
I really only need one for Monday, but if you want to do one in show, you can.
No. What do we got Monday? Kathy, what's going on this weekend?
USA is technically in a Gold Cup final in soccer.
Yeah. Wimbledon?
Wimbledon, yeah, there you go.
Wimbledon, Kathy.
No Jeet, though, because I think you had him this week.
Yeah. There's got to be something going on this weekend. When's the All-Star game?
Next week.
Like Tuesday?
I think Home Run Derby's Monday.
Oh, is that right?
I think so. Let me double check.
Hey, Siri, when is the All-Star game?
Which sport?
Baseball.
The AL All-Stars face the NL All-Stars on July 15th.
No, it's not till the
No, it's next week.
15th. Yeah. It's not till next week. I don't know. Here we go. You ready? 3, 2. It's that man again. Look what's happening on the Monday TRBS. Well, it's a Monday. Kathy Abernathy will be with us. We'll be in the third round of Wimbledon by then. We'll update you on that and the latest on my 4th of July weekend. All of that. Me at 3. It's TRBS. News Talk 96.1 and M. 3. I'll just do it again. 3, 2. It's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Monday TRBS. Well, it's a Monday. Kathy Abernathy will be here. Plus, we'll be in the third round of the Wimbledon Championship. We'll give you the latest on that. And I'll tell you all about my 4th of July weekend. All of that. Me at 3. It's TRBS. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Have a great 4th of July weekend. I'll see you Monday.
And work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Too hot for golf? Swing into action at Paso Robles Golf Club, just ranked among California's top 25 best public golf courses. Paso boasts the best conditioned fairways, a stocked golf shop, and a cool state-of-the-art fitting studio. After your round, head to Deeds Bar and Grill, the ultimate sports
How much
bar
thing is
and
tossing me to get home?
Open daily with a full bar,
16 balls.
17. Oh.
That has to be, yeah, because the holiday. It's so weird.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Big wheels keep on burning. Loud Mary keep on burning. Rolling, rolling, rolling on a river. Just not the same without Tina. Just not the same. Love me some Tina Turner. Let's check the board. What's everybody talking about? 842-537-6. KERN is our phone number.
If they knew they had the votes, they could have helped Valadeo by letting him vote no, keeping face here locally, and not giving the Democrats anything to stand on.
You know, it's funny you should say that. When he was one of the 8 votes that had not voted late last night, I thought that's exactly what they were going to do. Because it was clear they were going to have to talk people off the ledge. There were 4 at about 7 o'clock, 7:30 our time. There were 4 no votes. This was the procedural vote, just to get it on the floor for a full vote, full House floor vote. And there were 8 Republicans who had not voted. And CNN was reporting that Valadeo was one of those 8. And that's exactly what I think they were trying to, I thought they were trying to do, was get it down to 2 and maybe let Valadeo be one of the 3 so he could save face and the bill still survives. But I think he got on board, and I think he believes that he can sell it. Obviously, I mean, he voted for the thing, as reticent as he's been and as aware, you know, if Turnip Seed's predicting he's not going to win, Valadeo knows what kind of trouble he's in. And if I know that it's going to be Jasmine Baines that's going up against him, you better know the Valadeo office knows that as well. So I think they're geared up for this thing. I think Mr. Trump is going to help Valadeo quite a bit. That's heavyweight campaigning. And if this economy remains as it has, and the one cogent comment that Turnipseed made today was that many of the impacts of the bill won't take effect until 2027, 2028. We're not going to see any impact from this bill prior to the midterms. Absolutely none. And if the economy can keep thriving, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But again, like in many campaigns, not in all, and maybe not even in most, but certainly in this campaign, it's going to be about messaging. It's going to be about messaging. So we'll see what's going on. I've just gone through 3 drivers.
Oh, good Lord.
What is going on? Are people just partying tonight?
No, I don't think it would be that. I was thinking they've been doing some construction on the street, so maybe they're having some issues getting over here. But I don't think that they'd be doing construction at 550 at this point.
It took us, the 99 is a nightmare, and I haven't taken a look at it. I closed the drapes already. Can you see the 99?
Yeah, a little bit, at least going
southbound?
Southbound, and it looks flow, or it looks
like it's moving. Okay, yeah, because at 2:30, I got in the car at 2:30. I got here at 2:50. That's unprecedented. It took us about 10, 15 minutes to get from, what is that, 24th Street all the way to California.
Ooh.
It was literally bumper to bumper. And I kept trying to tell the kid it's the single lane because of the 58, because the trucks still can't make that turn. And I said, if you get into the second lane, which was moving, but he couldn't. That's why they just asked me for a tip, and I said no. I normally give my guys at least $3 to $5 because I see them, so it just doesn't make sense not to tip my guys. But this kid was just an idiot, just an absolute idiot. Wouldn't listen to me. And I told him not to take the freeway. He was afraid to cross 23rd Street. And I actually said, I don't blame you, but the freeway is going to be a nightmare. And he made a U anyway, went down 24th. And I could see the freeway as we were approaching 24th, or the freeway off ramp on 24th. And I was like, see, I tried to tell you.
You don't even need to go on to the freeway. Just go up Oak.
We could have shot down Oak. Yeah, we could have done that too. But he wanted to jump on the freeway. And I can't
stand people who jump on the freeway just to jump off on the next exit. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, when there's no traffic, it's the quickest way. Are you kidding? It's definitely the quickest way. And I don't want to be in a car with somebody else driving, having to cross 23rd. I really don't.
I get that part, but I don't know. For me, it's especially going down like the 170, and you have Mount Vernon and Oswell and all that, literally one street away from each other at each exit. And it just bugs me when I see someone go off on Oswell and then get back get on the freeway on Oswell and then off on Mount Vernon. It doesn't make sense to me.
Why?
Because it's literally one street away from each other. Just go down the same street.
But it's quicker on the freeway.
Yeah, I disagree. I don't know. I'm weird like that.
55 is much faster than 35. Unless you're doing 50 on going down Oswell.
I played the fifth.
Yeah, exactly. What else you got?
Fox News said today that 72% of Medicaid recipients don't even vote.
That's interesting. That is interesting. But I'm not sure if that is going to be the case in the 22nd district. 7 of the constituents are on Medicaid. I don't think that's the case. But we'll see what happens. What else you got?
Ralph, subscribe to the Wall Street Journal newspaper. Talk on your show about some stories of that newspaper.
I do. I read the Wall Street Journal every single day. I read from the Wall Street Journal yesterday. You're really going to try to, after 21 years, try to tell me how to produce a radio program? Really? You want to hear my routine? I've talked about this all the time. I get up at 7 o'clock. Although this morning I slept in. This was Friday and I didn't give a damn, to be honest with you. And I get up at 7 o'clock and I watch the Today Show. I watch the first hour of the Today Show. Then I go back and I watch the full 2 hours, although I do it on fast speed, and I stop when I see something fascinating. The morning show with now Lauren. I don't know her last name, and I'm not even sure if Lauren is her first name, but the new girl who's replaced Maddie Jansen and Alex. I watch them on high speed from 5 to 7. Then I watch the final hour of the Today Show, which is basically the first hour. So I speed through that. And then about 15 minutes, they start doing cooking and clothing, and okay, I'm done. And then I go watch the News Mix. And then I read the Bakersfield Californian. I read the Fresno Bee. I take a look at the Sacramento Bee, but I don't really pay much attention to it. I read the Los Angeles Times. I read the New York Post. I read the New York Times. I read the Washington Post and the Wall Street Journal every single morning. That's what I do. But thanks for the advice. What else you got? Two more.
Jasmeet Bains came to a celebration for Cancer Survivor Day and turned it into a campaign speech. Really left a bad impression on me. She turned what was supposed to be a celebration for survivors into a political event.
Doesn't surprise me. I don't think she's very... I don't know the woman. I've never even met her. I've been in rooms with her. I've been at events with her. I don't think she's very likable. I don't know much about her. I don't know. Is she married? I don't know much about her. Is she from here? As long as she's been in public life, it's weird that I don't know much about her, to be honest with you. But she will be a formidable opponent. All I do know is that she killed the Wicked Witch. And I'll leave it at that. You can fill in the blank. But one more and I'm going home.
Ralph, this bill is so bad that the senator from Alaska would not sign unless she got exceptions from her state or for her state.
Well, she said it on television. Lisa Murkowski. She said, I hate the bill, but I delivered for my state. I was like, damn, that's honest. Yeah, she flat out said that on television this morning. Said, I don't like the bill. I really don't. But I've delivered for Alaskans, and that's what I get paid to do, which is absolutely accurate. What are you going to do? Oh, I didn't get to any of the dang HA. Yeah, save those, though. We'll use them in October when he gets sentenced. Or something will happen. You know something's going to happen. The Combs story hasn't just died and it's going to go away until October. Something's going to happen. They'll file an appeal for his bail, or something's going to happen. Or the jurors will start talking next Monday. Something's going to happen. Somebody, I think it was the Today Show, interviewed one of the alternates, but that wasn't, he was an idiot, absolute idiot, and said that he would have voted along with the regular jurors. He said, I don't think they proved racketeering, and went as far as what H.A. Salas suggested yesterday when we talked with him, that he just doesn't think that they proved the case. He didn't say that he thought Diddy was innocent. The difference between innocent and not guilty. Not guilty is you didn't prove the case. Innocent is we believe you didn't do it. All you need is a not guilty verdict. But it's a bizarre world when a man is gleeful that he's just been convicted of 2 felonies. But I guess when you're facing the sword of life in prison, 27 months looks pretty damn good. Please, please have a safe 4th of July. Don't do anything stupid. Although I'm wasting my breath, aren't I? I really, really am. In the meantime, we'll talk with you again on Monday. And for Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. Have a wonderful 4th of July weekend, and I will rap to you later.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. House Republican leaders took a victory lap after passing the big, beautiful bill Thursday and sending it to the White House. Correspondent Bernie Bennett has more.
Speaker Mike Johnson told reporters he knew this conference would pass the largest tax cut legislation in history.
The question was, I mean, well, like, why? Why did you do that? Why did you think that was possible? Because it sums up, I would sum it up with one word. It's belief.
Majority Leader Steve Scalise said it took a lot of work to bring this to the House floor.
We just thought about those families who entrusted us with their vote, and we had to deliver for them. We figured out a way to come together. People you never would have thought showing up voting yes.
The bill now moves on to the White House for the president's signature. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
President Trump continues to change direction on Ukraine. As he was departing for a speech in Iowa, President Trump explained why he pulled back on weapons to Ukraine.